Second, 2 out, Palmero over the head of Jenks. Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series. Open, Chicago with the lead. Chicago Bulls have won their 6th NBA championship.
Under it, and to the middle with the 15, to the 20, breaks free of the 25, to the 30, to the outside, 40, midfield, 40, 30 to the coast, 20, 15, Hester 5. Oh, touchdown Bears!
Third time in 6 seasons, it's one goal team. The Chicago Blackhawks win the Stanley Cup.
A little bouncer slowly toward Bryant. He will glove it, throw to Rizzo. It's in time, and the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome to Shawn and Maya in the morning on his house music. I'm your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra. Thanks for tuning in. If you're watching us on Facebook Live, well, then I guess you found us on Facebook. And if you're not following us on Facebook, what? Listen, go to Facebook, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the like button, and now you're following Sports Zone Chicago. Simple. You're like that. If you're watching us on a YouTube channel, oh, but wait, there's more. While you're on Facebook, don't go anywhere. While you're on Facebook, go to the show's page. Go to Shawn and Maya in the morning. Go to the show's page as well. Like Shawn and Maya in the morning. And now you're following Shawn and Maya's page as well. Now, if you're watching us on our YouTube channel, excellent. And if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, for real? For real, for real? Come on, man. Listen, go to YouTube, type in Sports Zone Chicago, click the subscribe button, and also click the little bell. That's the notification button. And that'll let you know anytime a show from Sports Zone Chicago is going live. Get it? Got it? Good. If you're watching us on our mobile app, yay. Awesome. And if you didn't know we had a mobile app, are you for real? For real? Come on, listen. Stop what you're doing. All right? Whatever you're doing, go to where you get your apps from, whether it's iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Walmart, Kmart, 7-Eleven, Zayre, Zemsky, Macy's, Venture, wherever you get your apps from. You go there, you type in Sports Zone Chicago, you download it. You take us with you on the go. Not only do you get Shawn and Maya in the morning 3 days a week, not only do you get our other live shows throughout the week, not only are they archived there like they are on Facebook and YouTube, but I tell you what, we'll give you a slew. And I mean a slew of articles, thanks to my man Clarence Council III. Big up to Clarence for keeping you abreast of all articles Chicago sports related. And if you're watching this on a Roku channel, well, I like that kind of party, baby. And if you didn't know, you better ask somebody. We have our own Roku channel, baby. What is wrong with you? All right, Sports Zone Chicago, we are now on Roku. So if you have a Roku device in the house, okay, do us a favor. Okay, do us a favor. Go there, download it. Download the Sports Zone Chicago tile to that particular TV. Actually, to all the TVs. All the Roku TVs that you have in the house, download Sports Zone Chicago to those TVs. I know, even if it's in the kids' room and you're most likely not going to catch us in there or watch us from there, that's okay. Just download it in that room anyway. All right. You've already downloaded Stars. All right. Power. Book 2, Season 3 is already in full swing with Tariq. Tariq has gotten himself in another mess. Method Man and Mary J. Awesome. You've downloaded Paramount Plus because you're watching Yellowstone. You've downloaded Showtime because Billions is back and Axe is back, baby. So do us that favor. Download the Sports Zone Chicago tile and put it right smack dab in the middle of all your Roku televisions. Now, you can also tweet the show. You can tweet us at Sports Zone Shy, that's CHI, at Sports Zone Shy. Now, if you want to follow me, just me, personally online, you want to know what I did? Let me tell you what I did. You want to know what I did? Here's what I did. I made it nice and easy for you folks. Nice and easy. One handle for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, the Snapper, and TikTok. All one handle at the Shawn Sierra. If you want to follow my lovely co-host, Maya Akai, you can follow her on Facebook and Twitter at The Sports Chica. If you want to follow her on Instagram, because you're an IGer and you do it just for the gram, well, just follow her at Maya_Akai. It's MAYA_AKAI. I would be remiss if I didn't bring him out and introduce him. He's the man that makes everything run smoothly over here at Sports Zone Chicago. He's the man behind the curtain. And pay no attention to the man behind the curtain, except for now, my man, Steve Weekly. Steve, what's up, Papa? How are you?
I'm doing well. Let's have a
Yeah.
great show. Let's get them. Go out there and tell them the sports.
Do it.
I'm doing my new rock music. Working for you?
No, not at all.
No. Yeah. I was a coach for a long time, but the whole inspirational speeches thing
wasn't your forte?
No, I was more the guy that nobody wanted to see when they did something wrong.
We all play a role, and even on the coaching staff, we all play a role.
I'd sit them down on the bench, and I'd have a quiet, calm, compassionate conversation with the young gentleman, explaining to him that his skill set was not used properly in the situation. And I may have one or two disparaging comments about his lineage. Yeah.
Funny. That's good stuff. Again, we all have our coaching staff. We all have a role.
Yeah, mine was usually a jelly-filled.
Oh, man, listen, we have a phenomenal show for you today, but we need you to get interactive with us. Oh. Yes, it is, Brandon. It is free to download. Yes, listen, we need you to get interactive. So whatever platform you're watching us on, whether it's Facebook, whether it's YouTube, whether it's our mobile app, you can interact with us. Unfortunately, you can't do that with Roku, but that's okay. So watch us on Roku on the big TV, on the big screen, and then you use your phone and leave questions, comments, smart-ass remarks. Let's see who we got here. Cornelius Squall's in the house. What up, baby? 3 days to Grown Man's Christmas. You're right, Papa. You're right. I am fired up. My son Walls in the Mickey Ficky house. House Music Monday, baby. Yeah. Brandon Schutz, good morning, Papa. How are you? Patty, Lara in the house. Good morning. Armando Emeterio Lada Jr. in the house. What's up, Papa? How are you? Great to see you. Lavette Lee, good morning. She's in the house. And Brandon, yes, Sports Zone Chicago is free to download on Roku. And my man, oh my goodness. So my man Armando Emeterio Lara Jr., they're having a party over there. It's a party over there. Him, his wife Patty. Laverne. Who's Laverne? Is Shirley there too? Laverne and Shirley, they're there too. Monica, Moni, how are you? And Jeremiah. All watching. They got a little party over there. What do you got? A breakfast party? You got pancakes, French toast, waffles, sausage, eggs, milk, orange juice. Save me some. Save me some. I'll be there. Hassan, good morning, Papa. How are you? Yeah. Oh, the vet is there with you too. The vet Lee. It is a party. It's a party. It's a party. It's a party. Hey, thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate the love and the support. Brandon, watch your mouth. Don't blaspheme on here, my man. Do not do that. Yeah, how about your Cubs? They lost 3 or 4 too, so don't worry about it. How about them their apples? Get it twisted. Don't come at me. Oh, here's my man. I hadn't seen him in a minute. Charles McDavid. What's going on, Papa? Good morning. Good to see you. Good to see you. And I figure with the weather getting nicer, you're going to be busy with all them car washes. I'm at, Papa, make that money, Papa. Make that money. Well, listen, we have a phenomenal show. As I said, we need you to get interactive. But today, 10 o'clock, first timer. All right, first timer on Sports Zone Chicago. Shawn and Maya in the morning as well. Saul Rodriguez. Saul, for those of you who don't speak Spanish. Saul Rodriguez. All right, he's the host of the At Bat podcast. It's on War Media. We are Regal Radio Media. Coming out, we're talking Cubs and Sox. You know, Brandon, you're going to get your baseball filled 10 o'clock with Saul Rodriguez. Both teams had a rough weekend. Not a good day. Not a good day. Or not a good weekend, let me say, for both teams, North Side and the South Side. So we're going to talk to Saul at 10 o'clock and get his take on this whole situation. No, I'll talk about your Cubs. I'm not a Cub fan. Don't you dare blaspheme on here, sir. Do not blaspheme. And at 11 o'clock, we had him on last week, I believe, Michael Felder from Bleacher Report. He's back, college football analyst for Bleacher Report. And, man, that was such a good conversation. We had to have him back this week. We wanted to talk and go into the draft. The NFL draft is Thursday. 3 days away. And you know what? As was it Shawn who said it earlier? The first Cornelius, grown man's Christmas. All right. It's going to be awesome. And you know what we're going to be doing for it? We're going to be over at Output Lounge and Sports Bar. We're going to do a draft show this Thursday. Okay, I was there at Output last night, just talking to my buddy Eddie, the owner, and just kind of getting stuff situated for Thursday. I'll be talking to him, obviously. Well, not obviously, but I'll be talking to him more, once or twice more this week before the show. And let me tell you something, I'm fired up. Listen. If you don't know, listen, look at this. Hey, folks, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and we are 3 days away from the NFL Draft and the Sports Zone Chicago Draft Party, sponsored by Miller Lite. Come hang out with your favorite Sports Zone Chicago personalities on Thursday, April 27th at Output Lounge, 1758 West Grand Avenue in Chicago at 6 o'clock. Enjoy our live draft show, the best wings in the city, cold drinks, and giveaways throughout the event. So don't meet us there, beat us there. And we'll see you Thursday, April 27th, 6 p.m. at Output Lounge, 1758 West Grand Avenue in Chicago. Man, it is going to be one heck of a night. I'll tell you. I told you, I'm probably going to ask Eddie, say, hey, dude, let me just get a blanket and a pillow. Or maybe I'll even bring my own. Just spend the night there. And do Shawn and Maya from Output Lounge at 9 o'clock in the morning. It's on Friday. It's going to be that lit. I'm telling you. It's going to be lit. All right. It's going to be a great time. The Sports Zone Chicago personalities are going to be in the house. What's Up Cuz, Jason Palmer, and Lance Irvin are going to join us. Smoke Fellas are going to be there. All right. Mr. Smoke Fella himself, Ben Mull, he's going to be there. Damani, Lucky Lefty, is going to be there. And KDL, Kevin Lauder, he's going to be there as well, along with more. They're bringing their people. What's Up Cuz are bringing their people. Second City Sports is scheduled to be there as well. Lakina McGee and Sidney Brown, they're scheduled to be there, and they're going to bring their people. And, I'm going to bring my peoples. So it is going to be one heck of a night. It's one, because we're all going to be there. All right, we're all going to be there, and it's going to be one, it's good to have all of us there. But two, we'll get to intermingle, like different fans will get to intermingle. All right, people that What's Up Cuz brings. We'll get to meet Maya and me. They'll get to meet Smoke Fellas, and it's going to be a good night. Like I said, the best wings in Chicago. I can't even argue that. I had some of those yesterday. Amazing. And I can't even describe. And then what the Bears do. All right, we're gonna break down picks. We're gonna talk about those guys that are up until the 9th pick, and then with the 9th pick, then we have to figure out what the Bears are going to do with the 9th pick. Are they going to stay there? Okay. Are they going to trade back? There are a lot of options that can happen with that 9th pick. All right. There's a lot of rumors floating around. Okay. That they may trade back. Not too far. There's, Houston. There's rumors with them trading back with Houston, who has number 12. Okay, if there are a couple of tackles there that the Bears like, or a couple of DN defensive players that the Bears like, they may trade back, get some extra draft capital, maybe get a second-round pick, another second-round pick this year. Because I'm telling you, and I've told you this for months now, the best value this year in this year's draft is the second round. The best value is the second round. All right, do you guys remember leading up to today, all I kept saying was even before they traded out of that number one spot, do you remember me telling you that I wanted the Bears to go 1 to 2, 2 to 4, all right, trade with the Texans, trade with the Colts, or 2 to whoever, 7, 8, or 9, whoever wanted to jump up. All right, and I wanted in return second round picks. Obviously next year's first, but I also wanted this year's second round pick. Remember that, guys? Because there's a lot of value in this year's second round. All right, we don't have our own second round pick because we traded that for the Chase Claypool in the Chase Claypool trade. So I wanted to recoup that, and I also wanted to get another one because we have 53, 61, 64 is in the third round, but there's 3 and 11 slots. The second round is where there's going to be a lot of value. It's going to be tons of it, and the more picks we can get in the second round, the better. So if we can trade back with the Texans at 12, okay. Now, a lot of people aren't happy with that. They're like, no, we need a great player, blah, 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 blah. And I get it. I see your point of view, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's right. You know, my thing is you can get more talented guys in the second round. Remember, because there's a lot more, again, that's where all the value is. That's where a whole bunch of good guys are going to be taken. If you get a whole bunch of good to great guys, maybe not generational guys, but good to great, I think that'll be just fine. All right. And remember, we still have Carolina's number one pick from next year. So my whole philosophy is, look, if you don't get that generational player, if you don't like Jalen Carter or if you like him and he's not there, and obviously Will Anderson is most likely going to be gone as well. And maybe your Tyree Wilson was going to be gone at that particular point, especially if you trade back. Okay. Then you get second round picks. All right, get a lot of good defensive players, maybe an offensive tackle if you want. I don't even know if the Bears are interested in offensive tackle. That's what people are saying. That's what people are saying. But my philosophy on it, when a lot of people are talking, let's not forget the Bears they're going to be putting stuff out as well. They're going to have people close to the situation saying, oh, well, we need a tackle or we need this, or they're going to intimate it. Why? So the world can say, okay, the Bears are looking for an offensive tackle. And I'm not buying that particular of news that they're trying to sell. I'm not. All right. Everybody, the problem with this is that we don't see the work that's going on. Okay, at Hallis Hall. 2, we're not in the meetings at Hallis Hall. We don't know how these guys feel. We don't know how offensive line coach Morgan feels, or Ryan Eberflus feels, or Matt Eberflus, and Ryan Poles feel about certain players. So someone takes a narrative, someone drops a narrative, and people run with it. Yeah, I'm not quite sure about that. But nonetheless, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Mr. Short A is in the house. What's up, Papa? Draft, man, it is here. Draft week is finally here. I can't even tell you how fired up I am. I can't. Well, again, let me run through the lineup very quickly again. Oh. Saul Rodriguez from the At Bat podcast on War Media. Okay, he's going to come on and join us at the top of the hour, talk a little baseball. And then 11 a.m., Michael Felder from Bleacher Report is going to come on. He was on with us last week, and we're going to talk. It's closer. Remember, I believe he's going down to Kansas City. He's going to be doing a draft show live from Kansas City. So we're going to talk to him and see what he thinks, right? Who he thinks. I'm telling you, GMs right now is up until draft day. That is the biggest lying season. Not lying, lying. Lies. All right. The biggest manipulation period a GM has to have or is involved in. You cannot let anyone know what it is that you're thinking. Anyone outside of that building, you can't let know. Okay. So when people say, well, they're tied to this, they're tied to that, by whom? All right. I literally just got a notification saying that the Chiefs are tied to Zay Flowers. How do you know that? All right. It says right here, defending champs have been connected to wide receiver Zay Flowers and running back Jahmyr Gibbs in the first round. How do you know that? How do you know that? Okay. And this was according to Albert Breer. All right, here I'm looking at the article. It says the Kansas City Chiefs are one of the few teams that has already made calls about moving up in the 2023 NFL draft, according to Money quarterbacks Albert Breer. Breer cited Alabama running back Jahmyr Gibbs and Boston College wide receiver Zay Flowers as potential targets for Kansas City. The reigning Super Bowl champs will be on the clock with the 31st pick. And it said a trade up in the first round may not be required if the Chiefs set their sights solely on Gibbs. He wasn't projected as the day one pick in Bleacher's Report mock. He's the number 32 overall on Bleacher Report's big board. Yeah. How do you know this? So all speculation. Okay. And remember, this is lying season. People will say certain things, so it's a red herring. They'll throw you off the scent of who it is that they really want, what position or what player it is that people really want. So just because you hear stuff, I mean, it's great fodder for us to talk about, but I take a deeper look at it. Oh, so Hassem, you'd pick Van Ness from Iowa or Jaden Carter. If either aren't there on the board, trade back. Okay, but they may have some other players as well. And here's my thought. Well, we'll talk more. We'll talk more about that. We have a lot of draft talk to go through today. As you know, you're excited. I'm excited. We're all excited about this week. Thursday, day one. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, but Thursday, day one of the NFL draft live from Kansas City. There's so many hopes and dreams. All right. As Chicago Bear fans, we understand that we have a lot of picks. We have a lot of needs, but we also realize that a lot of those needs can be filled this year. I don't know about all of them, but a lot of them can be filled. And they can make, and I was producing the Smoke Fellas podcast, their show on Saturday, and I had a bet with Kevin. Kevin is a New York Giants fan. And he asked, how many wins do you think the Bears would have? We were talking. And I said, I think they get to 10 wins. And he said, you're crazy. And I said, why am I crazy? Why do you say that? I said, just think of this season. Think of this season, and there are 4 or 5 games ish that the Bears could have won or had a chance to win down the stretch. They had nothing to do with Justin Fields. Justin Fields did his job. Other players screwed up. Okay. The Amir Smith Marset from Minnesota. All right. Instead of getting out of bounds, for us to snap another play and get down and kick a field goal, what does he do? He tries to get more yards. The ball gets stripped from behind. Game over. All right. Cairo Santos. Was it the Miami game? Misses the extra point. We lose by the point. Comes back to bite us. The Commanders game. Darnell Mooney bobbles, double catches the ball, and he's at the goal line. Okay. That he catches that touchdown, Bears win. And there were one or two more games, if I cannot remember. I can't remember off the top of my head. All right. So you're looking at, if those happen, all right, that's another 3 to 5 wins. Let's say 4 wins. That gives us 7 wins this year. And if people think we're going to improve, well, a good improvement to me would be 10 games, 3 more wins. So Kevin and I have a bet. We have a stogie. We bet a stick on it, a cigar stick. And so I think this team is going to be a lot more relevant in the playoff conversation than most people think. A lot more relevant. All right. A lot more relevant. So we're going to find out. So it's going to be pretty fun. So try not to. It's funny because for 3 days, and then the day of, then Thursday, we're gonna be leading up to it. Be like, man, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? You're gonna be thinking about work. You're not even gonna be thinking about work. You're not even thinking, what am I gonna do when it's over? What am I gonna do when it's over? What am I gonna do when my day is over? Where am I watching how can I get home? How can I get to my buddy's house? How can I get to this bar? How can I get to that? How can I get to Soldier Field if you're here in Chicago? There's gonna be so many different things that we're gonna be fired up about. How can I get to output? How soon can I get there? It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be one of those times. One of those times that we are going to be, I think majority, because you always got the jamokes. I think the majority of Bear Nation is going to be happy with what they do. And I'll tell you what, I'll even be okay. I will even be okay if the Bears draft a cornerback. I won't be as happy. But if they get a cornerback and they solidify that back 4 or 5, because everyone's in a nickel all the time for the most part, and then you just go and you get defensive players, you get an edge rusher, you get a 3 tech, you get a 1 tech, you go get those types of players, and maybe good rotational players. That's going to help us. We might not have that super stud, but we can get him next year. That's my philosophy. Because any help this secondary has from last year, because last year, my goodness, we all know that pass rush was non-existent. Any help we get from that pass rush is going to help, going to benefit that secondary. We strengthen the second level with the linebackers. So if they take a quarterback, don't be too upset. Understand the thought process. I know we want to hear the name. We want to hear the big name that called when the Bears select. We get it, but remember, Poles has shown he doesn't care about the names. He has an agenda. He has a plan, and he's sticking to it. And if you're out of his price range, as you saw in free agency, okay, no problem. See, and here's the thing that I'm considering. I'm thinking. If you had a big need, okay, and that was your dude, that was your number one dude, I think you would be willing to overpay for that one dude. Okay. When they showed that they were not going to get in the Mike McGlinchey sweepstakes, they had their level. And I don't know if it was 16 mil a year, 16.5 mil a year, whatever. Okay. When they showed that they weren't going to go over that, it showed me that they are kind of happy with what they have. They're okay with what they have. They're okay with it. Okay. So trust in the process. Again, Ryan Poles to this point has done nothing for us to question him. Okay. He's brought in a lot of people. I'm not saying he's perfect. No. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that he's done a very good job to this point. All right. Manufacturing draft picks, Okay. Some of the people, and again, GMs are not, there's no GM who's 100% on all free agent signings and draft picks. There isn't. It's not possible. Okay. You just have to have more players that make a contribution than not. Or if you don't have one, the ones that do make a contribution are pretty big contributions. At this point, Ryan Poles is, I have no reason to doubt him. None whatsoever. So it's going to be interesting. And the last couple of days, the last 3 days of this week before the draft, it's going to be nutso. You're going to hear a hell of a lot more rumors. You're going to hear from this guy. I heard it from a source and someone that I'm close to in the building, and one of my people. You hear it all. Okay. And believe you me, when people are like what I'm hearing, that's why I really wanted Mark Sadowski. And you know what? I'll see if we can get him on after the draft, a couple weeks after the draft. But I wonder if they're told, like, you can't say shit to anybody. Like, I don't know if it's told, if it's understood, or if it's understood and it's told. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand how so many rumors get out. Because if rumors get out, guess what? They're trying to steer you in the wrong direction. They're trying to steer people away from who they want. They're not going to tell you who they want. It just doesn't make sense. So when you hear who's interested in whom, you kind of have to say, okay, well, what other areas are they interested in? Because if you're hearing rumors about certain players, if they want to go a certain way, you have to think they're throwing you off the scent. It's just my 2 cents. Well, listen, we got to take a quick break. And on the other side of the break, we actually are going to get to our top of the morning segment. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Hey, it's your boy, the Superback, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
No, I don't know, though. I'm scared. I mean, you're
Do you know that you're in my lane? No, not at all. Are you not paying attention? Are you texting? I was just checking in with my mom. I was telling her that I thought we'd be home by 6. It's okay. There's enough time. Just pay attention. I'm not even halfway through my text. There's no way. I'm not even going to look up. My babies are in the car. You have to pay attention. It's just supposed to be a quick text. I'm so sorry.
2 for Robert Jr. And this is labeled to center field. Margot charging, and he cannot make the catch. First hit of the series for Luis Robert Jr. is an ogle. There goes Robert from first. Throw down to second base is wide into center field. Robert thought about it for a moment, and now he's on his way to third.
And the legs.
Swing and a miss on a slider. Oh, he snapped off a breaking ball.
Ground ball down to third. Berger's going to have to go to first. He thought about the play.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Those clips courtesy of NBC Sports Chicago. Those are our White Sox. And you know what? That was a rough one yesterday. But here we go, guys. You know how we do the first segment of every show. It's called Top of the Morning.
It won't come just when you want it.
Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you.
So first, top of the morning topics coming out of that break. The White Sox, baby. My White Sox fall to the Tampa Bay Rays. 4-1, gets swept in the weekend set. Not good. Not good. Dylan Cease, he gets the loss. He's 1-2 on the season. 7 innings, 5 hits, 4 runs, all earned. 2 walks, 5 punch outs. Tampa's good. Why are they? I mean, they're still the only undefeated team at home. So you have to understand they have the best record in baseball. They undefeated at home. Yeah, they're a good team. And we were hoping that Dylan Cease would be able to end that streak, but unfortunately, he wasn't. All right, Eloy Jimenez was 1 for 3 with a double, his third, driving in his 7th RBI of the season. Luis Robert Jr., he was 1 for 4. Andrew Benintendi, he was 1 for 4, hitting his 5th double of the season. There's trouble on the south side. You remember I told you, I was like, yeah, we'll wait until Memorial Day before we start to panic. But man, that seat's starting to get hot. That White Sox fandom seat is starting to get hot and uncomfortable right now. Okay, I get you're playing the Tampa Bay Rays. I get they're the best team in baseball. I get it. But damn. All right. We have not won a series all season long. Haven't won a series. Okay, we split the opening series with Houston, and there was a lot of excitement on the south side. The defending champions. All right, you split with them, and we're like, okay, we come back home, we get blown out by the Giants at home. We win the second game, we get blown out by the Giants at home the third game. They win the series. We've gone on to lose the next 6 series after that opening series split. Not a good time. And if we lose another series or two, man, let me just say it's, you know, the old saying, you can't win the division in April, but you sure can lose it. I don't see them turning it around. I know they have the talent to turn it around, but I don't see them turning it around. And we got to get Tim back. We got to get Yo-Yo back. They're both placed on the IL. We got to get these guys back. Yo-Yo was having a good, very good start to the season. We're excited about Yo-Yo. All right, TA was doing TA stuff. You saw Eloy hit 2 homers in this series. Luis Robert, you saw he had 1 hit in this series, so he's got to do better. Benintendi with a double yesterday, but they just can't put them together. It just can't, and that's the frustrating part. We're going to talk at the top of the hour. All right, we're going to talk at the top of the hour with our guy. Saul Rodriguez from the At Bat podcast, and they're on the 10-day DL. They should be off in a couple of days. Hassam, I don't remember when they were placed on retroactive, so that obviously determines the end date for them. So They got to get their ass back because we need them. We need them. And the next top of the morning topic, the Cubs. The Cubs fall to the Los Dodgers, the LA Dodgers yesterday, 7-3. Marcus Stroman, he gets the loss. He's 2-2 on the season. 5 innings, 6 hits, 5 earned runs, 1 walk, 5 punch outs. Yan Gomes was 2 for 4 with a homer, his 4th of the season, driving in his 9th on the year. And Cody Bellinger, man, Cub fans, you are lucky as all get out. Cody Bellinger, 2 for 4, hitting his 5th double of the year, driving in his 15th run of the season. And Heiya Suzuki was 1 for 4, driving in his 6th RBI of the season. Bellinger's, man, wait till the weather gets warmer. Hey, you guys are doing a great pickup on your part. And unfortunately for the Cubs, you lost 3 or 4 this weekend. All right, to the Dodgers. Okay, this is a team that is year in and year out atop. All right, the Dodgers are tied for first place with the Arizona Diamondbacks in the West. It happens. Cubs, you're in 3rd place, 12-9. Sox, we've fallen to 4th. We're 7-15 this year. 7-15. What was really funny, I was talking to one of the guys over at Output yesterday, and I had some Bear stuff on. He's like, oh, he's being kind of funny. He's like, oh, man. He goes, you've given up on the White Sox already. You're wearing Bear stuff. And I was like, and he kept throwing, well, who has the Bear? I was like, man, because he had a Cub head on. Get your goofy ass out of here. No, the Cubs did not get swept. They lost 3 or 4, Patty. And he was like, well, who's got the better record? Who's got the better record? I said, the Cubs have the better record. I said, but you're in 3rd place. I mean, you have a better record than us. You're in 3rd place, and we're in 4th, and we're only a game behind out of 3rd place. I'm like, so you taking solace in the fact that you have a better record, okay, but you're in 3rd place in your own division. So don't worry about us. You worry about the other teams in your division who are putting a beat down, who are getting out to a fast start. Pittsburgh, what the hell is that all about? What the hell of that? What the hell is that all about? Pittsburgh, 16-7 atop the NL Central. Are you kidding me? Milwaukee, 15-7. I get it. All right, I see that. St. Louis, where the hell are you? Cincinnati, well, you belong at the bottom. Yeah, that's where you belong. But Pittsburgh, can they make? It's only the start, but just to see them get off to a fast start is kind of interesting. Kind of interesting. And my White Sox, we're in 5th place, a game behind Detroit, who's in 3rd. We're in 4th place, a game behind Detroit, who's in 3rd. Minnesota's up atop the division, 12-10. Cleveland is a game behind, 11-11. Detroit is 4 games behind, 7-13. We are 5 games behind, 7-15. And in Kansas City, they are 7 games behind. And things don't get easier for us, for the White Sox. We're at Toronto today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. Okay, and then guess what happens? We come home for another 4-game set. 4-game set against Tampa. Again, we just got done with 3. Man, if we lose all 4, that is going to hurt. Today, Lance Lynn is on a bump for the White Sox. He's 0-2 with a 7.59 ERA going against Chris Bassett. He's 2-2 with a 5.40 ERA. First pitch is 6:07. That game is on NBC Sports Chicago. And on the radio side, ESPN 1000. Man, that's frustrating. That is frustrating. The Cubs have the day off today. All right, they're at home against the Padres, Los Padres. The Padres come into town tomorrow for a 3-game set. And Cubs need to bounce back. Cubs need to bounce back. They got their asses handed to them this weekend. But I'm telling you, LA's good. This is not as if they lost to, a Washington or Cincinnati or Colorado. They lost to one of the best teams in baseball, the Dodgers. Well, I shouldn't even say they're one of the best. Dodgers are 12-11. That's interesting. the Cubs had a better record than the Dodgers going in. Now that I think about it, the Cubs are 12-9. They lost three or four. They're 11-6 when it started, and the Dodgers were 9-10. Well, there it goes. No, Mr. Soto, you're right. It is a tough schedule. Tough schedule early. All right, like I said, you got the Padres Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Then you're at Miami Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Miami right now is 12-10, 2 games behind the Atlanta Braves, a game and a half behind the New York Mets. So Miami is in third. So there's not a lot of teams running away with this. Tampa Bay seems to be having a blast. Texas seems to be having a blast. Those are the only in Pittsburgh and Milwaukee. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 teams with single digit losses still. The Cubs are one of them. They're 12-9. This is a decent amount of teams. And it's gonna get, if this continues, and obviously no one's gonna end up having single digit losses. Don't be silly. But you continue to lose it, at such a slow rate, or win at such a high rate, it's going to get interesting. And the Cubs are right in the mix. The Cubs are going to be right in the mix. If they can continue to play this way all season long, they're going to have some series where they need to win. Maybe they do. If they do, all right, especially key division wins. When you play Milwaukee, when you play Pittsburgh, all right, your division games are vital. All right, you gain a whole game in the standings when you play a team in your division. So, especially the teams ahead of you. But again, just like I said about my White Sox, we'll wait till the end of May. We'll wait till Memorial Day. See how both teams are doing. Okay, right now the White Sox are trending down with a 7-15 record. The Cubs are trending up, despite the fact they lost 3 or 4. Can they get back on the winning side tomorrow at home against the Padres? Well, I guess you know what? We're going to have to wait and find out. Well, the next top of the morning topic, Thursday, baby. Thursday is the NFL draft. Woo, Charlie, 3 days away. NFL draft is in Kansas City. And the Bears are preparing to finish up their preparations for this event. I think this would probably be my most excitable time. That would probably be my favorite time if I was in an NFL front office. This time right now would be my favorite this time of year. Why do you ask? I would love, and to have a boss like Ryan Poles first is what I would need. But I would love to go through a myriad, a countless simulation of the draft. Like, I'd love to do 4 or 5 a day. Okay? 4 or 5 a day. Reason being, when things happen, I don't want to be surprised. When we get to number 9, if we stay there, we look at who's on the board. And at that particular point, we've already had this scenario, and this scenario has played out once or twice in our hundreds of mock drafts that we've done in-house, and we just take it. Now, all we do is we entertain picks. Anyone want to jump up and give us another pick? Anyone? Bueller? If no one jumps up, okay, then we take the guy that we had. Because once the number 8 pick is in, you're like, okay, we know we're already going to take Tyree Wilson. All right, say he falls. Or Jalen Carter falls. We're going to get him. Or Skoronski, whoever they decide to pick. All right, a number 8 pick is in, and they announce it. We're like, okay, boom. We know we got this guy. We're going to take this guy. But I think they have 15 minutes per pick in the first round. Let's see who else jumps up, who wants to get into our number 9 slot. That would be so fun for me. And then you think about all the mocks that you did when you trade back. Well, Texans could trade back at 12. They may want someone else who's there who might be gone. There's one guy that they want. Okay. So then you would have gone through that scenario. What do you pick at 12 with who's on the board? If these guys are left, here's who we take. There's talk at 17 with the Pittsburgh Steelers now, who want an offensive tackle, or rumored to want an offensive tackle. Okay, well, give us a second round pick this year. And if that happens, okay, well, then what do you do? What do you do with that particular pick if you drop back to 17? So I am excited. 10-minute first round. That's right, Brandon. Brandon Livingston, baby. What's up, Papa? He's calling. He's coming in from the left coast. I appreciate it. Mr. Soto. Shorty's in the house. I appreciate it. Yeah, look, only 8 picks ahead of us. 3 QBs, 5 players that can be had before us. I'd say we get a good to great player. I agree. However, don't forget the trade back. I do think 3 quarterbacks will be taken before us. And if Will Anderson, if Will Levis goes in that top 10, I don't know if he will. Depends on who you ask. You know, some people like him, some people don't like him. I don't know. But if he goes in that top 10, God, does that help the Bears? Does he go in the top 6 or 8? Does that help the Bears? Because that'll really allow us to trade back, because at that particular point, there'll be 4 quarterbacks taken. And some people are saying he might fall. We don't know. But if he is taken so you figure Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Will Anderson. Okay. Who wants Anthony Richardson? Does he get taken up high? Does Indianapolis like him? Jalen Carter, I don't think he's going to make it to us. I don't. Seattle could use him. Pete Carroll could use him. Detroit could use him. They pick right after Seattle. And if Jalen Carter goes first, then Tyree Wilson is likely the second guy to go, or the third defensive player to go, after Will Anderson, Jalen Carter, Tyree Wilson. Or maybe Tyree Wilson goes in front of Jalen Carter. Who knows? But that's only 6. Does Skoronski like Skoronski? Do they like Peter Skoronski with his short arms? And listen, you rip these guys apart. All right, and people are talking about, well, his arms are too short. Do you realize that Rashawn Slater, another Northwestern tackle, his arms are literally 3/4 of an inch longer than Skoronski's. 3/4 of an inch. I mean, I know size matters and every inch counts in certain instances. But if you're talking 3/4 of an inch on an offensive tackle's arms, come on. And if you listen to what they've said about Skoronski is the most technically sound, fundamentally sound tackle coming out of the draft. Because he's probably heard that his whole life. Your arms are short, your arms are short, your arms are short. So you know what does that mean? That means you must play with leverage. You must have phenomenal leverage. You can't lose leverage. And that's why he's one of the top tackles in the draft, because he doesn't lose leverage. Because if his arms are an inch or two shorter than you want, as an NFL exec, you can take solace in the fact that his fundamentals are strong. His fundamentals are sound. So now do you want him? Or do you like the upside of Jones, Broderick Jones from Georgia, Darnell Wright from Tennessee, Paris Johnson from Ohio State? Do you like their upside better than Skoronski's? Because just because he has shorter arms, and people like, it's so easy, it's so funny to see. They're like, oh, well, yeah, everyone jumps on it. Oh, he's got short arms. He can't play tackle. Rashawn Slater's a Pro Bowler with arms literally 3/4 of an inch. 3/4 of an inch longer. That much is going to make a difference? I mean, that's what she said. But we're talking about NFL organizations. That much is not going to make that much of a difference. So, again, everything is being said to throw you off. And here's the one thing. We got to figure out who the Bears have not talked to. The Bears, you saw Ryan Poles last year, the Bears, who are they not talking to? That's where you want to lean toward. Because everyone's been like, I knew it. I made the pick. Okay, cool. That's fun. It's a fun game. Trust me, you're not saving the world. You're just guessing a draft pick. But it's fun. I get it. So let's look at who the Bears have not talked to. Also, who the Bears have not brought in. They bring in Tyree Wilson. Shorty, very good. Yes, sir. Yes. Who are they hiding from everybody is the question. Who do they not want to talk about and get everybody saying, oh, why do you like him? Oh, let me look at him. No. It's going to be interesting. But listen, we have more Bear talk at 11 o'clock. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and on the other side of the break, we're going to go back to this shithole that we call Chicago baseball. Whew. Man, you know what? You know my despise for you Cub fans. We can both share a beer or a drink or a couple shots after this weekend. That was a swift kick in the nuts for all of us. We're going to talk to our guy. It was not fun at all. Let me tell you, we're going to talk to our guy. First timer here. Saul Rodriguez is going to join us from the At Bat podcast. Looking forward to talking to him. And hopefully he's got something in his drinky drink, because Lord knows I need something in my drinky drink after this freaking weekend, especially if my boys on the South Side. So keep it locked right here, folks. Saul Rodriguez coming up next, talking baseball with your boy, the SuperBack, right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Hey, folks, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and we are 3 days away from the NFL Draft and the Sports Zone Chicago Draft Party, sponsored by Miller Lite. Come hang out with your favorite Sports Zone Chicago personalities on Thursday, April 27th at Output Lounge, 1758 West Grand Avenue in Chicago at 6 o'clock. Enjoy our live draft show, the best wings in the city, cold drinks, and giveaways throughout the event. So don't meet us there, beat us there. And we'll see you Thursday, April 27th, 6 p.m. at Output Lounge, 1758 West Grand Avenue in Chicago.
Jason, let's go see your room.
What do you think? We kept it a little spare, so you can decorate it how you like.
Dinner! Go?
Excellent. Yeah, I saw you guys out there.
We're the family.
Oh, I thought you were on my team.
Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
Every day my dad did that joke to somebody on the planet. Don't think anyone nickels. Oh, stop, my ribs.
Laughter. There's nothing like it. But sometimes it's not that easy to laugh. I have liver disease, hepatitis C. Remember this. It only takes one incident. One moment in time can change everything. Get tested. because no one is immune. It's no laughing matter.
The Canadian Liver Foundation has the facts you should know. Find out more at liver.ca.
It's a romance sport. What? It's a romance sport. Yeah, yeah. It's a romance sport. Yeah, it's a romance sport like that.
Every day we take steps to keep the people we love safe, but some health risks are easy to miss. Ticks hiding in the yard can spread germs, like the ones that cause Lyme disease. Mice searching for food can spread bacteria that makes us sick. Mosquitoes lay eggs in standing water and can spread West Nile virus and more. Cockroaches are drawn to water in the home, leaving behind allergens that can trigger asthma attacks. Common pests can threaten our health. Learn how to protect your family at pestworld.org.
Benintendi a drive in the air, right center field. Margot is back at the track. It's off the base of the wall and rolling back into play. Benintendi scoots into second base with a leadoff double.
Here comes the first pitch. Swinging a fly ball out into deep left center. And that ball is off the wall. Benintendi will score easily. And Eloy's got a double. They're on the Tampa bullpen. Swing and a miss. Strike three. Third strikeout for Giolito.
It's an extremely deep lineup. Another fastball. That one dotted on the corner. And the back-to-back strikeouts for Giolito.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Those clips courtesy of NBC Sports Chicago. Also heard the radio feed from ESPN 1000 as well. Those are the good guys, all right, who are not playing very good baseball right about now. My White Sox on the south side. Actually, they're in Tampa. It was a tough one yesterday as they completed getting swept by the best team in baseball, the Tampa Rays. Yeah, frustrating to say the least. But our first guest is actually his first time on, and I'm excited to have him. Excited to talk about these horrible teams that we have here. He is the host of the At Bat podcast on War Media, WAAR. Make sure you check that out. You can find him on Twitter at Saul, S-A-U-L, Saul_R26. Guys, let's welcome to Shawn and Maya for the first time, Saul Rodriguez. Saul, what's up, buddy? How are you, Papa?
Hey, I'm good, man. Thanks for having me, man. How are you?
I'm good. A little tired from my Sunday fun day yesterday, but I'll make it.
That's all of us, man. I get that for sure.
Yeah, so I was at Output yesterday. Big shout out to my guy Eddie G, who a good buddy of mine who owns Output. I'm watching these games, and so he had it was funny because he's a Sox fan. So we had, I don't know how many TVs he has, like 12, 15 TVs in there, and I think the Cubs game was only on one or two TVs because he's a Sox fan. And I'm like, good. Like, if we get in the smallest one in the back room, like in the kitchen, put it in the kitchen. But it was not fun. Talk to me about this White Sox team, man. They still on paper one of the best teams, and I hate saying that because, on paper it's basically I think they're the most talented team in the division, but they just can't seem to get it right. They can't seem to put hits together. As I say that, as we have back-to-back doubles and they scored the run yesterday, but what is wrong with this team, and why can they not win consistently like they should be? Because I feel this is a big year for this team, this squad as it's constructed, because if they don't get to the playoffs and or get out of the first round of the playoffs, I think it's time to start moving pieces.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, man. I know, like every White Sox fan I talk to, it's always, they're the most talented team in the AL or in the division, but how long can you say that, before it's time to, put some of these guys on other teams? But yeah, it's been pretty rough. I mean, the thing is that they're not hitting. Their bullpen is not pitching well. Their starters are doing everything they can, but even then, that's not enough. And you still have guys like Giolito who aren't fully there as much as, Giolito is probably one of my favorite White Sox pitchers in the last few years. And it's been rough to see him kind of go back to his old ways, right? Of like how he was before, his all-star appearances and all that. And it's just, yeah, I mean, the hitters haven't come around. Luis Robert had a little bit of a hot stretch, and he's kind of been the best offensive player they've had. Eloy Jimenez has looked better over the last, week or so, but yeah, it just hasn't kind of hit on all cylinders yet. And it also doesn't help when you get, go into Tampa and face that buzzsaw of a team of the Tampa Bay Rays right now who are just on fire. So, and the thing is too, is that their schedule doesn't get, with obviously with the balanced schedule and all that, it's not easy for anyone, but their schedule doesn't get any easier, right? Now you take on Toronto this week, and you go, then you come back home, face Tampa again, then you face Minnesota. So
for 4-game stretch for Tampa.
Yep. So it's not going to get any easier, but you just kind of hope that they can, come back home, and get some more, home cooking. But yeah, it's been a rough start, to say the least.
Yeah, it has, and there's a lot of question marks surrounding this team, and a lot of blame. Talk to me about your thought that you bring in Pedro Grifol, a rookie manager, and not his first go around as a coach. He's been with Kansas City, and he's coached against us for many years, but it's his first job as a manager. All right, the spotlight is on him. All decisions go through him. It's a different thing when you're a bench coach and you suggest and you tell and you see things and you tell the manager, hey, here's what's happening, here's what we do, as opposed to you're the man when you're the one getting fired at with 15, 20 questions every day, pre and post game. All right, it's different. Tell me your thoughts on them hiring him with a somewhat veteran squad, okay? Because all these guys have if you think about all, there aren't really any young guys. Gavin Sheets is a few years in the league. TA, Yo-Yo, Lou Bob, they all have years in the league. So you're dealing with kind of a veteran team, even though they are still rather young. Or talk to me about that, bringing in a new guy as opposed to bringing in a grizzled or chiseled vet. I personally wanted Ozzie. I thought he would have been the best person for this gig. But talk to me about their decision to go with a newcomer with this team as opposed to retread.
Yeah, no, I agree with you with the Ozzie thing. I think kind of leading up to that, during the offseason, I was like, I don't know about Ozzie. And then, the more it got into the offseason progressed in there, I was like, I like that because it would have been like a nice kick in the butt, especially the way he is and just, how he acts and stuff. I love it. So, but no, look, the thing is, Pedro Grifol is I think it was a good hire because he's a great clubhouse guy. I think, for example, Andrew Benintendi, had a lot of compliments for him. Obviously, they both were in Kansas City together. And then also just, you could just tell that he's great with the players. And Lucas Giolito said that on another interview. He said that Grifol is great, is the type of person who starts every day anew. So like every challenge, it's a new day. It's this, they take it day by day, right? So that's kind of, I did like that. So it was one of those things where I kind of wanted to hear what the players said, like after a couple weeks or after a little bit. And it looks like it's a good, relationship at this point. But I get the concerns of, throwing a guy that's never done it before with a team that has to do it like now. But I think it's more at the end of the day, I think this kind of proves with the way the White Sox have started, it kind of proves that at the end of the day, it's just going to fall on the players, man. And I think that, the last couple of years, it's been a little bit of the manager this, the manager that, but now this year it's the players got to start, doing what they're doing. And I understand, look, the White Sox the last, few years again have had the injury bug and it's just been ridiculous. Right. And I think, after a while it's tough, but I don't put that much on Pedro this the first few weeks in. I'd probably give him a few more months before I kind of give him a little bit of a more critical take on him. But yeah, I mean, look, another thing too is I like to see Latinos get hired. So that was another positive for at least they did that right on that end. But yeah, I mean, hopefully he's able to bring the squad together to get some more wins though.
Yeah, I agree with you because it's frustrating as a Sox fan. I'm really not spending a lot of my money with these guys. I think Saturday I might get a $500 level ticket. They're giving out jerseys, I think, a soccer jersey or a football jersey or a hockey jersey. No, it's a hockey jersey, I think. So dude, I've done it before. All right, I'll buy a $7-10 ticket walk in and get the thing and walk right back out and have my boy waiting. Rose just driving around or walk back to 35th Street Red Hots and get a dog and call it a day because I'm not giving them my money. It's frustrating to see that. Talk to me about Lubab. You mentioned him, and I've been very critical of him and of Yohan Moncada because I think those two are the most talented players on the team. And to me, it doesn't seem like they have the desire to be great. Seems like they want to be okay. They're okay. They're happy with maybe their contract, but I don't see that desire to be great, and that frustrates me. Talk to me about Lubab and what have you seen in his couple of years here on the South Side?
Yeah, no, with Luis, I mean, it's like they say that he kind of personifies what the White Sox are, right? Where it's like they have all the talent in the world, but they kind of haven't put it together, at least individually. And Luis Robert is that type of guy. And I mean, he's been compared to Mike Trout multiple times with the defense, with the arm, with the hitting, and man, I mean, you just see how hard this guy hits the ball. I mean, you believe all those things. So yeah, I mean, it just hasn't, it hasn't happened yet for him. I know that they're still young, especially him and Yohan. It's just, they still got time, but it does get, I'm sure White Sox fans are a little restless for sure. And the thing of Yohan Moncada is, we always hear that, I even from Sox fans, oh man, this guy just looks like he's playing lazy out there. Like he doesn't care and all that. And I can't say anything against that for sure, but it was a positive to see him, how he started the season. And of course he starts the season hot and he gets injured. So that's, the most White Sox thing ever there. So it's been, it's hopefully, that Yohan comes back and he's able to get that going. But it's one of those things where you see those two guys in the lineup and you just see the players they are and all the talent they have. And you're like, it's an amazing 1-2 punch right there. But they just haven't really been the guys that you want them to be in. I have more confidence, honestly, in Luis Robert than I have Yohan Moncada, as much as, he's had his hot streaks and all that. I think Luis Robert will come around and he will be the guy that the White Sox build around. Obviously, this, regardless, hopefully that, they're able to turn it around. But if, in worst case scenario, they have to kind of like, retool or whatever, having a guy like Luis Robert is going to be a good thing to like at least build around, have a core at least. But yeah.
Guys, we're joined by Saul Rodriguez. He's from the At Bat podcast. We're talking White Sox baseball right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. This pitching staff has left a lot to be desired. And then the games that they pitch well, we don't hit. But talk to me about this pitching staff. Dylan Cease got touched up a little bit yesterday, and if he gets touched up, man, I think that really sends ripples through the rest of this rotation. But talk to me about the starting five, where, Lance Lynn seems like he's aged. Why can't he pitch like he did in the World Baseball Classic? Lord have mercy. Then you got Kopech, who's, first time getting a full season, a full off season of training. Now he's a full starter. Lucas Giolito, your guy, and then Clevenger. Talk to me about the starting five and how you like it. Who do you think is the weak link, or who do you think may even need to go?
Yeah, no, I think going into the season, I honestly thought it was the strong point, one of the strong points for the Sox. They had a solid five, and I think it'll even out in the end. I think they'll improve in the end because I think guys like Lance Lynn, they're just too good to be how they're pitching right now, honestly. But guys like Kopech, I still don't understand, with what's going on with that as well. He's struggling and. This is just my personal thing. I've always told my White Sox friends, I'm like, Kopech just seems like a guy that might be better out of the pen, but that's just me. And hopefully he's able to find as a starter because I obviously that would help the White Sox more. But yeah, I don't know. It hasn't been worked out. Clevenger, for obviously, a lot of people because of his off field things are like, hopefully, this guy does. I've had some White Sox friends that are like, hopefully this guy doesn't pitch well so we can DFA him or something. But yeah, honestly, he's been one of the better starters on this team. Yeah. So it's been pick your poison there. But the thing is, Dylan Cease, they're gonna go as far as Dylan Cease can take him. And the thing is, with him, he's been pitching kind of pretty much like Dylan Cease mostly. I think with him, it's really just the walks that come back and bite him when he does, when he doesn't pitch well necessarily. And it doesn't help also that, that the White Sox can't score as well. That's not going to help the starting pitchers whatsoever. But really it's just kind of getting deep into games. I think is going to be the key for these White Sox, this White Sox team. And guys like, and the thing with Lucas Giolito as well, there is that I like that. I've always said this, even when, the White Sox give up like he gives up 4 or 5 runs or something like that, he goes in there and still gives you like 7 innings and it goes deep into the game. So I think that still helps the bullpen, especially this bullpen that's struggling. But yeah, I think this starting rotation will even out in the end. But like I said before, it's really mostly just been the bullpen, at least pitching wise, that if I was a White Sox fan, I'd be really worried about.
Yeah, it's going to be a struggle on the south side. Like I said, I think I might go Saturday, but just get the and then Thursday they got, they have at St. Rita now. I went to St. Rita High School, and so if you buy a ticket through a certain link, you get a hat. It's a pretty cool hat. It's a red hat with a blue bill. It has the White Sox logo, but it has St. Rita insignia on the side, so I might get that as well. And but that's it. I'd go get the hat. I wouldn't even buy a drink. I just go get the hat, walk in because I got to go get it on the concourse, and then leave. I'm like, I'm out. I'm not giving you any more money. I'm just frustrated at what they're doing, and it bothers me that these guys. And I personally feel so. I feel that they got the bag. I think they're chilling now. I think they're chilling. I mean, look at Lewis Robert, and this is a testament to how great he is. This guy just has shit at bats. I mean, his first at bat yesterday, I want to say, or one of the at bats, it was like three sliders down and away. He swung at all 3 of them. Like, dude, he got you in the first. I can see if you get called out with a fastball on the inside corner because you're thinking, all right, it's another slider down and away. I'm not swinging, but to swing at the same pitch 3 times, it wasn't even a strike. Like that, to me, that's frustrating, and that's why I say, like, I don't think he has that desire. Like, he doesn't, like, there's, when guys are maniacal about their craft, when they don't do stuff like that, right? It doesn't matter if baseball, football, basketball, hockey, soccer, track. You don't do stuff like that, and it bugs me because of the fact that he's so talented. If he was a shit player or average player or Lurie Garcia, okay, I can see it. I expect it from that. Dude, you're freaking Lewis Robert Jr., man. You're being compared to Mike Trout, probably one of the best baseball players in the history of the game. Definitely the best, before Shohei got here, for like a 4 or 5 year stretch. And you're doing this type of nonsense. Like, it bugs me. So hopefully they get it turned around and get it turned around quick, because, the White Sox, they're losing fans, they're losing attendance. And that's really gonna, if it continues, trust me, it'll be like the old days where there's gonna be not a lot of 10,000 people at a game, and that's on a good day. So let's go to the north side, bro. Let's talk about the north side. The Cubs, they've started off a lot lot better than many people thought they would. Talk to me about this team here, man. What are they doing right on the north side?
Yeah, it's been really surprising. I mean, I think a lot of people thought they'd be, better. A lot of people thought maybe a wild card berth. And, in this case, it looks like they at least have a shot. I still think that they probably won't make it, but that's just me being pessimistic there. But yeah, they really just have been running on all cylinders here. I mean, the offense has been one of the best, if not, the best in baseball. I mean, it's the best in the National League for sure. I believe they're second in OPS in baseball behind the Rays. Yeah, I mean, they've just been hitting. The starting pitching has done well. I think really they've only had a couple hiccups with like Tyone going to the IL, and then also Hayden Wesneski hasn't really done well for his first full season as a starter there. But yeah, I mean the offense has just been explosive. I mean, Nico Horner's going off, and Bellinger's doing way better than a lot of people expected. Him on that 1-year deal. You got Patrick Wisdom, who's one of the league leaders in home runs. So, it's kind of, yeah, it's been weird to see that, honestly, because I definitely didn't expect this type of start. But you kind of said it at the beginning of this beginning of our conversation, the fact that it was kicking the nuts for Chicago baseball fans. This definitely was for the Cubs, because it was kind of a little bit of a wake up call. This is, the first series loss since the first series of the season, with that losing 3 out of 4 to the Dodgers. It kind of showed that, a lot of people were saying, oh, the Dodgers, this and that, but they're still the LA Dodgers, man. They're still going to come in and give you a run for their money. So yeah, it's really been a positive start for the Cubs, and you can hope that they could finish the month on a positive note as well. And they have a tough schedule too, and they've had a tough schedule all month. So that's another reason why I didn't see them starting off well. facing teams like Texas, Seattle, Los Angeles, and all that. But they've held their own, man, and they've done well so far. But again, just like the White Sox, their schedule is not going to get any easier as they take on Tatis this week as well. So hopefully they can keep it going, though.
Is he there? Is he still suspended for?
Yeah. I know, right?
And then they got to go to Miami after they deal with
Yep.
San Diego. So it is no easy task for the Northsiders or the Southsiders. Talk to me about this culture. Talk to me about the culture that David Ross, I feel, has established. He established it last year, and with these new guys, because they never seemed to be out of a game last year. Yeah, they lost a lot, but they were never really blown out. They brought in talent, and these guys really fit in well with this culture that David Ross has kind of fostered. Bellinger, former World Series winner, MVP, same thing with Hosmer and Dansby Swanson. All these guys are bringing in guys who are winners. How important is it to bring in winners, that they brought in winners to this Cubs organization? They had a lot of young players getting ready to mature, take the next step.
Yeah, no, I like the culture that David Ross has. I think a lot of the players like, kind of like the player. So to me, the vibe I get is like players only type thing, right? Where, all the players can relate. Obviously, they've all been on the field and all that. They can relate, but I like it. And they've, the players have talked about how much they like playing with Ross and all that. And when it comes to the guys they brought in, like Mancini, Bellinger, yeah, I think it helps a lot. And I think especially when you got guys, like Nico Horner, who are trying to learn how to win. And Ian Happ, who hasn't been around a lot of winning necessarily. So it's cool to have that because they shared experiences and all that, and they can bring a lot. And for example, I mean, you got a guy like Bellinger who's playing a lot more like his old self there.
Yeah, he is.
Mancini hasn't really, and I think any Cub fan would be saying that's kind of a positive because of the fact that they're looking at Matt Mervis to come up anytime soon.
Never nervous.
Yeah. So, yeah. And I think it's still important because, guys like Eric Hosmer as well. I mean, those guys, played their butt off, in the playoffs and had some amazing plays and done all this. So it does help the younger guys because I think you kind of have somebody to lean on. And it does help in a season like this where it's still considered, I guess, like a transitional year. I think, I don't think any Cubs fan would be mad if they don't, even get like that third wild card spot whatsoever, despite of how they're playing right now.
Do you think they can compete for the wild card spot? Because I think if they start rolling, I think they can fight for the division. I don't think they'll get it, but I think they'll fight for it, and then maybe falter toward the end in the last week or two. But how far do you think, or do you think they can get to the wild card or the division this year?
So yeah, I mean, look, the positive side of me, I'll say yes, they can, and they definitely. I think they have more shot. I personally think they have more shot of a wild card spot than the division itself. I think ultimately. Look, the Brewers have gotten out to a hot start, which I didn't expect either, as much as I still expected them to make the playoffs. The Cardinals, I think they're going to be, they're going to be fine because their hitting is just too good, and they'll be fine with their pitching. So I think the Cardinals will still win the division. Call me crazy right now with how it looks, but yeah, I still think they'll come back because they're just too good, and I think that they'll find like some rookie starting pitcher in their system and bring him up, and he'll start
like they always do.
Yeah, like they always do, right? So, so yeah, I think the Cubs, with the way they're built, for sure, man. I mean, their starting rotation looks really good. Their bullpen actually has been really good too. So, if they continue to play at least this baseball like the whole year, then yeah, they have a good shot of making at least a wild card spot. But I think they're still missing a few things, like for example, a closer. Maybe even a setup man at that as well. I know they've had a couple injuries. They got Cody Hoyer finally coming back, and also just like Brandon Hughes coming back from injury. So they have the pieces to definitely compete for a wild card spot at the least. But really, they just need consistency. And look, when you look at the lineup, it's hard not to be like, hey, they could do this all season with the guys like at the top of the order like Horner, Happ, Swanson, and Suzuki. So yeah, I mean, I think. Sky's the limit. They just gotta, keep it consistent, really.
Cool, guys. We're joined by first timer here on Shawn and Maya in the morning, Saul Rodriguez, talking a little baseball right here on Sports Zone Chicago. It's going to be interesting, man. Talk to me a little bit about the professor. All right, he was the staple. He was the main guy for a while. I mean, he was a youngster on a 2016 team. Then he went on to become kind of like the elder statesman. And now he's kind of like trying to get his way back in. He's out coming off an injury. What role does he play when he comes back, and how effective do you think he'll be?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's been odd, the last couple of years with Hendricks and how he's kind of maybe like a little bit fallen off, honestly. And I think they kind of just have solved him, honestly. I think when you look at other teams face him, and his thing obviously is the changeup and all that, and other teams have just been kind of waiting for it. It looks like, he hasn't looked right. But look, the thing is, the guy like him, I think, is pretty important to the staff with guys like Dustin Steele, with guys like Wisniewski. Because they have a wily vet who's been there and done that. So I think he still has an important role on the team, and I think he'll be able to put up some innings and show these young guys how it's done. But hopefully he's able to kind of at least find his way back a little bit, because it just he hasn't looked like himself the last couple of years, and injuries obviously haven't helped him. So I think when he comes back, he'll be able to at least have a more consistent role. And the Cubs are a team that at this point, with the type of players they got, even though Taillon is on the IL, they even have the makings of like a 6-man rotation if they really wanted to once Taillon comes back, because they got guys like Wisniewski still there. He could be like the 6th starter. So they have depth there. But I think Hendricks is still a guy that they want to have in the rotation and to be a mainstay and be as consistent as possible because of his leadership role.
How far do you think the Cubs go if Bellinger continues to play the way he's playing? I noticed it before spring training. He was working out in Arizona, getting ready for the season to start, and they had some had some film on him. And by any stretch, I'm not a swing analyst, all right, but I do know a lot about baseball, and I've seen, and believe me, I've seen quite a few pretty swings. Frank Thomas, Ken Griffey Jr., Barry Bonds, a lot of just people who have beautiful swings. I saw Cody Bellinger, in just working out, getting back into shape. And I said, holy shit, dude, this looks very similar to that 2018, 2019 swing that he had when he was the MVP. They won a World Series. I'm like, this looks pretty good, man. And if he can continue to have that swing, and he's going to be a good piece for this Cubs team. How far, if he continues to get to improve, how far do you think he can? And he's not the only guy, of course, but how far do you think they can go with Cody Bellinger on a really, really good prove it? Like you said, 1-year deal. He's trying to get another bag, another 4 or 5 year contract. All right. How far do you think they can go with him if he gets really, really hot?
Yeah, I think he's probably one of the more important guys in the lineup. If you think about it, I think you could even make an argument with the type of player he is that if he has a great year, even close to some kind of all-star year that he how he's played before, you can make an argument that if he does that, then they'll for sure be in the playoffs, because that dude can carry a team when he's hot. And you look at his swing, and I've noticed, because look, over the last few years, I've seen a lot of Dodger games at night, and just seeing him struggle it hasn't been pretty. So I think the way that he's been playing now, you kind of see he's been a little bit more patient. He hasn't chased a lot. He's not missing a lot of fastballs either. So it's one of those things where he does look a lot more comfortable. I think, and a lot of people have said this, not just me, like you just kind of, you look at him and the way that he's playing, and he looks way more loose. And I think when you play in LA, where every year they expect the World Series, not to say that he can't, take that. It just must be a lot of pressure. And I think that when you're playing the way he was playing, it wasn't helping the situation. So I think it was kind of like a monkey off his back when he came here. And look, like I said, if he's able to, play like he's playing right now, then I think the Cubs have a really good chance, because that deepens the lineup way more. And I think when you have like I said before, that 1 through 4 looks pretty good, but hey, that 1 through 5, if you have Bellinger batting 5th,
right.
And they even moved him up. Yesterday he bat 3rd. So if things go right, maybe even this switch up the lineup he's playing really well right now. That's for sure.
Yeah, it is. And last question before we let you go, so man, I appreciate your time today. I know you're a busy dude, man. And talk to me. Do they re-sign him? Do the Cubs go after him if he has a good year, if they get to the playoffs? I don't even care if they get out of the first round. But if he leads into the playoffs and he has 25 dingers, because Wrigley Field in the summer is a launching pad, in right field. He can do some damage there. Do you see the Cubs re-signing him? Because I mean, he hasn't really done much. Just a World Series winner, Rookie of the Year, Gold Glove winner. And besides that, not too much. So do you think the Cubs really make a run at him if he shows that he's able to stay healthy, but two, he puts up numbers, not necessarily his MVP numbers, but en route to those MVP numbers?
Yeah, I think they definitely will try, but I think it's kind of like the whole not to compare the situation at all, but I think it's kind of like, a lot of people are like, oh, are the Angels going to keep Ohtani? I'm like, I think they got to make the playoffs, and maybe that can convince them. Even then, I don't know. But with Bellinger, I think if the Cubs make the playoffs with him, I think it'll probably be a little bit easier to re-sign him because he's kind of help them get to get another step in there, help the culture even. But yeah, I think it's gonna be tough to sign him. To re-sign him. I think also because of the direction the Cubs are going in, you can make an argument that, if guys are available out there, like an Ohtani and stuff like that might not be their top priority to sign a guy like Bellinger. But I mean, I think if he has a great year, like an all-star season, then he might be asking for a little bit, a lot of money, because at the end of the day, I mean, look at how much he got for this year, right? 18 mil. I think for that's really just the MVP and the All-Stars talking right there. So add on, a great season. It's going to be, a good amount of money. But I mean, I hope he stays there just because, it'd be nice to have him with the rest of the guys. Cause I mean, like I said, they're gelling really well right now. So I think he fits in just right with that team. But I think it's going to be, Jed trying to get him, but he might, go where the money's at, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I think, I mean, which is fair, right? At his age, I think
I'm mad at you.
You want to get paid. It might be somebody else that's looking for that main bat in their lineup when you have a team like the Cubs who already have guys like Happ and Suzuki and Swanson. So,
because he is only 27, and that would be that's a perfect. I mean, that's not young. That's literally in your prime. Yeah. So obviously you got Hansby for a few years, but you can keep, if you get Hosmer. I mean, that's why I'm thinking. If they keep that core, like a new core, and it includes Bellinger, I mean, hey, you got all that money. The COVID's over. People are staying at the hotel. People are going to Wrigley. They're going to your bar. They're going to all types of stuff. Hey, you know what? Why not? Why not make a run at it? Because that shores up, first of all, the hitting, but shores up your defense. The Gold Glove, center fielder, the things that he does, like you don't find them in everyday center fielders. You know what I mean? Everything from offensively, defensively, base running. All right, you don't find those people like that, players like that don't grow on trees. So that's why I asked, because I wonder, will the Cubs say, hey, listen, we got this dude. He's back. All right. He had a couple of down years. Now he's back. And again, if nothing else, he gives you phenomenal defense. If nothing else, and we know there's other stuff that he brings, but if nothing else, that's center field, from left center to right center is pretty much covered with Cody Bellinger. So it's going to be interesting to see. The Ricketts don't have a problem spending money. They don't. So we'll see how it's going to be. Cub fans, they're in a good spot. They're in a good spot with, you keep obviously, like I said, Dansby Swanson, is signed for a few years, but now if you keep Bellinger and sign him to a deal, you got a couple of nice pieces that are still relatively young, right in their prime. So it's going to be interesting to see for Northsiders how their team progresses. Hey, Saul, great stuff today, buddy. I appreciate it. Again, we appreciate your time. Before we let you go, though, do me a favor. Let everyone know where they can find you and your work online.
No, yeah, thanks for having me on, man. Yeah, so you just go to War Media on YouTube, Instagram, and all that, so you can see all the coverage of At Bat Podcast. I also do a lot of the Bears stuff, so we're gonna have a big show this week with with the Bears recap. And preview the draft. That's going to be cool. So yeah, War Media is where you can find most of my stuff. And as well, like, as you said earlier, at Saul _R26 for Twitter. And yeah, check us out. Definitely appreciate you having me on, man.
Cool. What are you guys doing for the draft? Are you just going to do a recap the day after? Are you going to do it the day of? What are you guys doing?
Oh yeah, so on Wednesday we're gonna preview the draft a little more. This last week we had Glenn Morgan from NBC Sports Chicago talk about the draft. And this week we're gonna preview it. Me, Joe Tanksley, and hopefully some more guys. And because on Thursday we'll try to bring some coverage, especially to the War Media Instagram for sure. But I'm gonna be at the draft party, so it's gonna be fun and to see what the Bears do. So it's gonna be a good time, man. I think. I think just everybody in Chicago is excited to see what the Bears do on Thursday.
Yeah. What do you think they do? What do you think? They stay with 9? They trade back, and if they do hold, and now we're talking baseball and football, but that's okay because you're versatile. Do you stay at 9, and who do they get if they stay there?
I think, man, look, what I said last week, I think Ryan Poles is cooking up something. I think more likely than not, they trade out of 9.
Okay.
But I did see a tweet yesterday. I think it was Greenberg that said that, look, that I think the Bears were like odds-on favorite to get Jalen Carter at number 9. And that kind of was like, I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, I think most likely, I think they trade out of 9. But
if he's there at 9, do you think they take him?
Yeah. Oh yeah, no doubt. I think that's the thing. I'm okay with them trading out of 9, but like if Jalen Carter's at 9, I'd probably just take Jalen Carter, honestly, because that's how a player is ridiculous, and he's game changing. So yeah, I think that's what they, because I mean, I know a lot of people are like, oh, get Skoronski, all this, and look, I understand where you're coming from, but if a guy like Jalen Carter's there and he's there for the taking, you might just have to get him in.
I do too. I think he is. Many people don't like him, and not because of the off-field issue. They just, they think he takes plays off, whatever. Dude, when you dominate the SEC the way he has, and that is basically the minor leagues of the NFL. When you dominate that, like there's chances of you being a bust are very slim, and I don't think he's going to be a bust. So, and I think the cult in Siortma, one of the guys said the Bears culture, right, would be a good fit for Carter. I do too. I do too. I think Coach Eberflus will have people in line. Ryan Poles. It starts at the top. So I think it would be a good fit. If you do have them, man, our defense, Charlie, is going to be one nasty group, nastier than they already are. So, hey, Saul, great stuff. You know what? We'll probably have you on again, man. Talking Bears. I did forget that you cover the Bears a lot. I saw and feed that you're in the locker room talking with them. So I forgot. So I'll make sure that you're versatile. That's why I love it. I love talking to people who can talk baseball, football, basketball, and all the sports, man. So great stuff. But again, I appreciate your time, Papa. Hey, you have a great day, and we'll be in touch soon, okay?
Hey, you too, man. Thanks again for having me on. Appreciate it.
No problem. Guys, that's Saul. All right. Saul Rodriguez, and good stuff. Good stuff with him. I appreciate his time. Let's take a quick break. On the other side of the break, we'll have some NBA conversation. Playoffs are going crazy. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Hey, folks, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and we are 3 days away from the NFL Draft and the Sports Zone Chicago Draft Party, sponsored by Miller Lite. Come hang out with your favorite Sports Zone Chicago personalities on Thursday, April 27th at Output Lounge, 1758 West Grand Avenue in Chicago at 6 o'clock. Enjoy our live draft show, the best wings in the city, cold drinks, and giveaways throughout the event. So don't meet us there, beat us there. And we'll see you Thursday, April 27th, 6 p.m. at Output Lounge, 1758 West Grand Avenue. Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
At a time when the news seems as subjective as the partisan politics dividing this country, independent professional journalism has become a resource people need to get the honest and accurate information for their lives. That's why I created JQuinnReports.com. As a born and raised Chicagoan, I know this city better than anyone. So my investigative stories are all original, and they'll go deeper to expose the truth by using information obtained from public information databases and in-depth interviews with the movers and shakers. My feature stories will introduce you to people and businesses who are changing the world, not just Chicago. My missing person stories will spotlight those who you don't hear about in the mainstream media, who are often overlooked. If you want to hear my personal views on things around the world, check out my blog site, which is based off of factual information and my life experiences. There's also past episodes of my weekly sports podcast show, What's Up Cuz, that I host with my real-life cousin, Lance Irvin. So if you're looking for all this information and more, check out jcoinreports.com and follow me on Twitter at jcoin.
So I've come up with the family emergency plan.
Great. What is it?
It's difficult to talk about, so I'm not telling you.
How will we know what to do?
You won't.
I'm so glad I won't have to remember anything.
And me too. Thanks for this, sweetie.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Search Ready Kids at nyc.gov or call 311.
There are a few who move toward the sounds of chaos, ready to respond at a moment's notice. And when the time comes, they are the first to move toward the sounds of tyranny, injustice, and despair. They are forged in the crucible of training. They are the few, the proud, the Marines.
The winner of this one will play Miami in South Florida. Levine and one. But a big piece for the Raptors now. DeRozan through rush hour traffic. Got it. Made them much better. DeRozan. Wow. Took out the giant killer and got it to go over Porter. Back to Levine. Inside. Tough. Kobe White into Patrick Williams. Drives the baseline. Oh, caught a body.
Length, that athleticism, that sheeting up the line.
Vucevic from the baseline knocks down the 12-foot.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning at Sports Zone Chicago. Those clips courtesy of ESPN. Those are our Bulls in their last game of the season this year. Tough way to go out. And they're down in South Beach. Actually, technically, they're in Miami. South Beach, excuse me, for those of you who don't know, South Beach is a different part. So where people look at mangoes and Wet Willies, that's South Beach. It's in Miami Beach. It's a different city, but people just assume it's all the same. I found that out when we went down there in January of 2007 to win for that our first national championship game when I was with the Thunder. So, but they're down in Miami. That's where their season ended. And my question, I wonder if, because you had exit interviews the next day and stuff like that. Like, how many guys want to say, you know what, just bump this. I'm going to stay down in Miami. I'll get back to Chicago and I'll get my interview. No, they had to come back as a team. Excuse me, because they're technically still under contract until the end of the playoffs this year. But yeah, just a thought. How many were like, yeah, I'm just going to stay here in Miami and yeah. So if you see my shirt, I know it's House Music Monday, all right, but you see my shirt, we got Chicago staples, all right? You got deep dish pizza, okay? We have a Chicago style dog. We have an Italian beef here. And then we have the taco. Chicago staples, baby. Let me tell you, Chicago staples. Like, you got to have a guy. You got to know where to go. Get your pizza, your deep dish pizza, your Chicago style dog, your Italian beefs, and your tacos. Tacos are a little easier to get because there's a lot of good places. Okay. A lot more Mexican restaurants are opening up or have opened up in the last 10 years. All right. It doesn't cost, it's not as much necessary for a taqueria. All right, a Mexican restaurant as there would be for a pizza place. Just the ovens, the whole thing. You just need a grill in the back, and depending on if you make pozole and carnitas and barbacoa, you still don't need as much. So a lot of good taco places around. But I'm excited. I'm excited for Chicago, baby. We're in a spot right now, and I know it seems kind of dreary when we're looking at baseball. Cub fans might have a little sunnier outlook, okay, right now, but it's early. It's early, very early. And once TA gets back for our White Sox, Yo-Yo gets back for our White Sox, things can change. Cubs, you have to worry about falling off quickly, and that's what you don't want. Okay, but the Bears are looking good. The Blackhawks, once the Stanley Cup Finals are over and the draft is held or the lottery is held, do they get the number one pick? Because if they get the number one pick and they get Connor Bedard, that rebuild, it will be a whole lot quicker. Let me tell you. All right, the Bulls, yeah, they're kind of swimming in quicksand right now. We don't know what's going on with them. But the Bears, we got a couple teams, man. A couple teams here that are to be excited about. Cubs, Bears, how the Hawks do, I don't know. We'll see. We will see. But the Bulls, they're not one of the teams that we can get excited about. The Bulls are in a situation where many people, and believe you me, I know tons of people who said, I done did, told y'all. Okay. They ran it back. They didn't add a lot of pieces. I mean, they added DeAndre Drummond. I thought that was a great pickup. Why they didn't use him, I have no idea. They needed to use him more, but I have no idea. But I digress. The Bulls were in a situation, this is what bothers me. All right, Arturas Karnisovas, you knew what the hell was going on with Lonzo Ball. And you didn't do anything about it. I would say if Lonzo Ball is the type of point guard that we need, okay, why wouldn't you go get a backup point guard who's similar to what he does? He may not be able to do everything. He may not be a great defender, okay? He may not be a great facilitator. Well, you want him to be a great facilitator, period. First and foremost, that's what you're going to want from a point guard. Now, he may not be as good a defender, or he may not be as good a three-point shooter. So you're going to have to take two of the three. So which would you like? Would you like him to be not only a facilitator, but would you rather him be a good defender, or would you rather him be a good three-point shooter? Because point guards like that, they don't grow on trees. They're not available every year. You got one in Lonzo Ball. He got hurt, and you didn't replace him. And you're looking up at teams like Milwaukee. All right, Milwaukee's giving us the flux. Miami, Here's the thing. Let's talk about the playoffs. Miami, the team that we beat three times in the regular season. I'm like, they're not going to win it. The Bulls aren't going to win this game. There's too much pressure on the line. And when you beat a team three times in a season and you got to go for that fourth, I didn't think they'd have. And plus, I'm scared to go against Jimmy Buckets. I didn't know if Zach could match him. Remember, Zach had a great game against Toronto. And this is the concerns I had about Zach. Remember, I said he's got to be consistent. Now, just because you've had a great game against Toronto, that was the most important game of the season, right? Good. Yes, it was. Until the game with Miami. Then that became the most important game of the season because that would have got you in the playoffs. It got you into a series. And Zach didn't show up. So the criticisms that we had of him are still valid. Because things don't progress because you say, oh, well, look at Miami. They're beating the Milwaukee Bucks 2-1 in the series. We don't know if things would have played out that way. If Giannis had been able to play this entire series, we don't know if it's a 2-1 series. It might be 3-0 Milwaukee right now. Okay, you can't equate his injury that the Greek Freak, Giannis's injury that he got in the Miami series to one if he got that he would get in the Bulls series. You can't equate that. And if he's playing against the Bulls, he's destroying the Bulls. Because if he was playing against Miami, I think he'd be doing a pretty similar job. Although the one thing about Miami, this is great, and this has been them since Pat Riley took over. They play physical defense. Physical. In the playoffs, that's the type of defense that you want. So right now, Miami is up 2-1. And I literally just got a notification on my phone. Giannis is going to play game 4. They cannot afford. Milwaukee cannot afford to go down 3-1. They can't. Because Miami will be able to beat you 1 game in 3. 1 game over the next 3, Miami would be able to beat you. But you need to tie that series at 2 apiece. Because Miami's playing smothering defense. They're getting great 3-point shooters. They are. You talk about a team that's hitting its stride at the right time. You're talking Miami. And the one thing that Miami has is defense. Defense always travels. So tonight, Bucks at the Heat. Defense always travels. The Heat got a big opportunity. You go up 3-1. You didn't have to go back to Milwaukee. It's like, just come back to Miami. Well, the series will be 3-2. And we'll win it in Miami. And here's more of these rumors. Just got another notification from Bleacher Report. It says the belief around the NFL is the Raiders will not draft a quarterback at number 7. Will instead target a cornerback after the failed move to the number 1 spot. This is the belief. Right? The next couple of days, the next 3 days, the next 72 hours plus, get ready for all these. Rumor has it, according to sources in the league. What does this one say? The belief around the NFL. A source close to me, a source in the building. Expect all these things to be coming around the next 72 hours. But the Milwaukee Bucks, they're in a conundrum. They're in a conundrum. All right, they cannot lose tonight. They cannot go back home down 3-1. Because Miami's going to put all their focus on game 6. All right, Milwaukee's going to go home, have the fans behind them. They're in an elimination game. They're going to desperate. Fine, Miami, go ahead. You could have that. It'll be 3-2. And we'll go back home. How much does Giannis change the outlook of this series? A lot. But is he going to try to do too much tonight, understanding that they can't go down? Or is he just going to play his game? Is he just going to be dominant? How focused is Giannis going to be? How focused? Because when you step out of your comfort zone, when you start doing more than necessary, that's where you run into problems. That is where you run into problems. So Giannis is going to make a big impact. Let's just hope he doesn't try to do too much. I'm not saying don't take over. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is continue to play the way that you wanted to, or the way that you've done to this particular point. Continue to play. No, I don't know. I'm doing this. I'll call him back. We'll get it. If not, no, we'll get him done today. Sorry about that. Threw me off. Anyway, Milwaukee, Miami. Does Jimmy go for the kill? Does he make sure they get it? Because you get 3-1, it's a whole nother ball game. You're operating from a position of advantage, big time advantage. Okay. Also, don't forget tonight, Grizzlies at Lakers. What the hell? The Lakers are a team that so many people wrote off. The Lakers are a team so many people were making fun of. Okay. They're up 2-1. The 7th seed. The 7th seed over the number 2 seed, Memphis. You know, I'm anxious to see how LeBron goes off. I'm anxious to see. All right. Dylan, he's a joke. He's a clown. You know, I get you want to try and intimidate people. I get, dude, you're a clown. You know, hitting LeBron in the nuts, bullshit. Bush League. You know, see, the problem is that LeBron is kind of above that. Like, I want sometimes, and this is not just in basketball, this is in life. Sometimes you have to be disrespectful to people just to show them how respectful you had been up to that point. Like, say LeBron wins. All right, he drops 35. Say LeBron gets a triple-double. All right, with Dylan Brooks guarding him. You win the series. Why aren't you going at? Why, if you're under LeBron, like, you know what? That dude can't guard me. He's a clown. Next question. Something like that. Why? Because you see what he's doing, and I get it. Michael never talk shit about people. He say it to your face, but he never went to the media. But this guy went to the media and said he's old. I don't respect anyone unless you put 40 on it. So you don't respect LeBron James? Like, you know, I think Michael's the greatest basketball player of all time. But that doesn't mean that takes nothing away from LeBron. It doesn't mean he's one of the greatest players of all time. But for you to say that you have to drop 40. I mean, who the fuck are you? Who are you to say you have to drop 40? Like, have you not seen what LeBron's done? LeBron's had an amazing career. And then you're going to diss him, or he's old, because I think that's again, that new generation, that childish type stuff. There's no respect for your elders. And I get it. You respect all, you fear none. You don't have to fear LeBron, but respect him. The guy has done more in this league than this guy will ever think about doing. Dylan Brooks. Come on, man. Like, there's no need for him to be that disrespectful. And then hitting LeBron in the nuts. I want LeBron to drop 30. I don't want him to get 40. Get 35, 10 and 10, 12 and 11, whatever. And win the series. Just say, hey, you know what? Brooks couldn't guard. You know what? Come out, say it. He's a clown. He can't guard me. He can't hang with me. All he can do is hit me in the nuts. Try and get in my face when I make a mistake. Or something the ball goes out of bounds, he can get in my face and clap in my. That's all the dude can do. That's all he can do. I would love, and I think the basketball world would love it too. Everyone except anyone in Memphis would love for LeBron to put this dude on Front Street. Stop being such a damn clown. And LeBron needs to call him out, call him to Front Street. Like, dude, this dude is nothing. I just got a triple-double on his buster ass. They better get someone else on me. But LeBron's not like that. And that sucks. Because Dylan Brooks needs to get put on Front Street. Period. Well, listen, we got to take a quick break. It got me fired up just talking NBA playoffs, man. And, you know, I'm not a big LeBron fan. I love what he does. Off the court, I think he's a great player. I can't stand the flopping. But hey, game recognizes game, man. I respect that dude, man. I respect him for what he does on the court. I respect him for what he does off the court. All right. And here's where he needs to be a little more hood, a little nastier. Like, dude, you're a clown. You cannot guard me. You know what? Coach, put someone else on me because I'm going to drop. He needs to go in another locker room like Mike would do. Who's guarding me? Oh, you? I'm dropping 50. That if rumor comes out that LeBron does that, my respect for him will go through the freaking roof. But anyway, we got to switch gears, baby. Dude, I'm getting fired up. My next guest, we had him on last week, and we were talking. He's like, let me come on next week. We'll talk. I'm like, hell yeah, come on back, baby. Come on back. We're talking Bears. How many days are we away? 3 days away from the NFL draft. We're going to talk to our guy, Michael Felder from Bleacher Report. And things like rumors are flying. What are you hearing? What is he like? Let's get it on, baby. Let's get it on. Bears talk coming up next right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
Hey, it's your boy, the Superback, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
It's a romance sport. What? It's a romance sport. Yeah. It's a romance sport like that.
Jason, let's go see your room.
What do you think? We kept it a little spare, so you can decorate it how you like.
Dinner.
Go. Excellent. Soccer. Yeah, I saw you guys out there.
We will never fully understand what we've asked of you, of your families, or your children. Asking you to deploy, patrol, stay on watch, on point. Asking you to put yourself in harm's way, to endure it all. But we do understand that it's our turn, our duty, to bring you all the way home, to keep you secure, to have your back for the rest of your life. Wounded Warrior Project long-term support programs do whatever it takes to help our most severely ill or injured veterans live independently, at no cost, for life, so that they might stand at ease.
Goff off the play fake. In trouble. Goff is down. Jack Sanborn. And now on third down, Fields will yank it, and there's room to run for Fields.
Oh,
Fields,
baby.
turn it on the speed. Fields on the angle, trying to outrace Okuda, and he'll beat him to the goal line for the 3rd and 8. Goff, quick toss at the 30, trying to turn upfield. Khalif Raymond will not get the first down.
Woo-hoo-hoo. Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Can I just tell you, every time I watch stuff like that, the hair on my arm stands up. I'm getting fired up. 72 hours away-ish from the NFL draft. I am fired the freak up. Those clips courtesy of Fox. And let me tell you, just thinking of the weapons that he's had, that we've added, the weapons we're about to add, and by weapons, I also mean on defense too. Those are weapons as well. Dude, it's getting me fired up. Get me fired up because I can't wait. And if you're in the Chicagoland area, do us a favor. Join us. Join us at Output Lounge on Thursday. All right. Draft starts at 7. We kick off our live show at 6. All right. We're going to do a live show at 6 o'clock at Output Lounge, 1758 West Grand Avenue in Chicago. Most of the Sports Zone Chicago family is going to be there. Second City Sports scheduled to appear. What's Up Cuz is going to be there. The Smoke Fellas is going to be there. And, of course, Shawn and Maya. We're going to be there as well. Come join us. The best wings in the city. I was there yesterday. Man, best wings in the city, hands down. All right. Cold beers, giveaways throughout the event. It's going to be one hell of a time. If you're in Chicago, don't meet us there, baby. Beat us there. Man, my next guest, he was on last week, and we had so much fun. Like, you know what? Let's do it again. Like, bet. All right. He works for Bleacher Report. He's a college football analyst. You can find him on Twitter at In the Bleachers. Guys, just welcome back to Shawn and Maya, Michael Felder. Michael, what's up, Papa? Good morning.
I'm doing great, man. How you doing?
I am fired the freak up, dog. I am fired up, man. Tell you, don't get me watching football clips, dude. It just, whew. I get it. I love it. I love it because I see where this team's going. I see the opportunities. I love talking football. I still coach football. I coach at a prep school. So I love it. I love it. I love it. Anytime we talk football or deal with football or smell of football or think about football, the hair on my arm stands up and I get fired up.
No, I feel you, man. Listen, there's a football. You can see there's a football behind me. Got some cleats back there. Got a little mini helmet over here. Like, I dig it, man. Like, it's one of those things where I love what, like, listen, that's what my whole entire Instagram like algorithm is like. Oh, can we just show you like highlights from football, highlights from like softball? Because my daughter's getting into softball, and it's just like that's all it is. So I'm just like, yes, 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 yes.
Oh man, well, we're 3 days away, man. 3 days away from NFL draft. A lot of teams, you know, it's kind of like spring training for baseball fandoms. You know, we're looking at what do we need, what can we get, what can and number 9, the number 9 pick is where my Bears are, and there's been a lot of speculation. All right, that they're there. They're going to take Skoronski. Nope, his arms are too short. They're going to take Paris. They're going to take Braxton or Broderick Jones. Nope, he's too much of a raw talent. No, they're going to take Paris Johnson. Talk to me, man. Who are you? What are you hearing? All right, because I like to talk on a national level. You know, we get all the local people here, and that's cool. All right, but also from a national level, looking at this from 10,000 feet above the earth, who's it look like that you think, or what you're hearing that the Bears might do with the number 9 pick if they keep it?
So here's the thing. Best case scenario is Jalen Carter falls.
Yes.
But
thank you.
He just went to visit the Lions, and the Lions are like, oh, we feel way more comfortable with him. So I don't know that he's going to fall. Now the question becomes, will Tyree Wilson be available? Uh-oh. What are we going to do? Now, I will say this about the Lions. They just traded Akuda, right? A guy they drafted, 3-4 years ago in the first round. Just trade him to the Falcons, which means they might get into the corner market and make this run on corners go early. That's the scare. Like, to me, that's the rumor. Talking with folks, the scariest part is if the Lions draft a corner instead of going with Jalen Carter. That's good for the Bears, but it does change what this draft looks like, because if they pick Christian Gonzalez, who's the name I'm hearing more than even Devin Witherspoon, if they pick Christian Gonzalez early, then all of a sudden Las Vegas has a decision, Atlanta has a decision, and then obviously the Bears will have to navigate that decision. This is one of those things where, and this is why when people do mocks, it's so, like, I have to do mocks too. I got to do a mock on Wednesday. But all it takes is one team, and then all of a sudden you're royally screwed. The Bears, I'll be honest, the Bears was that 2016, 2017, the Mitch Trubisky year?
Mm-hmm.
They completely changed the complex of the entire draft by doing a thing no one expected. And at this point, I'm pretty sure no one wanted.
Yeah, even Chicago Bear fans didn't want that. They didn't want that back then. Trust me. Let me tell you. You're right. All you need is one monkey wrench in the whole program, man. And if you get it, and this is why, like, if I was in the front office, this would be my favorite time of the year.
Yeah.
Okay, because the amount, like, I would love to go to work every single freaking day. Like, all right, we got 4 drafts that we're going to go through today, and you have to come up with the craziest shit. Like, who's gonna be do something stupid and take a player you haven't thought of, and it throws everything in out of whack. And so we got to be ready. And that's why being an NFL exec in the front office would be so fun at this particular point, because the good ones, and I imagine all of them do, but like, you're gonna say, okay, let's give me your craziest thing. They'll jump up and draft Adam Shaheen like we did, took him in the 2nd round. Like, what the? Okay, some stupid shit like that. Or they trade up, they give Mitch Trubisky. All right, so who's gonna trade up and take Anthony Richardson? Who's gonna trade up and get Levis and push everybody else down? And so when we get to 9, we got to have, these are the players available. And if these are the players available, here's who we want. Now, we're not going to turn it in right away because we want to see if other people want to come up and give us more draft capital. But to me, this would be the most fun time as an executive. So if the 3 tackles are there, 2 tackles are there, just say 2.
Yeah.
Okay. 2 of the offensive tackles. Let's say Broderick and Wright are there. And you're the Bears. What do you think they do? Do they grab one? Do they trade back? What do you think they would do?
I'd grab one. I would, and specifically the one I would grab is Broderick Jones. I understand people think he's very raw, but the reality is this is a guy, and I think, you know whose game I think that Broderick Jones really would help out is Cole Kmet. Those 2 guys paired together as a team on one side of the offensive line, now we become a team that can run the ball really well. Whether you use your running backs that you have or you go out and get a new running back, you can get Mo Ibrahim on day 3, right? Day 2, day 3 from Minnesota, and he can become a guy that's a stalwart. But what you're ultimately having, you'll have 2 guys that can really block next to each other at tackle and at tight end. And then all of a sudden, it makes Fields' life a little bit easier. And then once the running game gets going, guess what? Maybe Fields becomes more of a part of that running game, or a guy who, when he wants to run, he's got 3 guys that can block for him because Ibrahim can block as well. Or you show that, and then he can take a step back and you can get over the top because everybody's so worried about the run game. And I think that's the big key for me. So I would take a tackle, especially if Jalen Carter's not there. I think the question for me is, will Tyree Wilson be there? And that's the one that's kind of a wild card, because if the Lions like Jalen Carter so much that they're going to take him, I don't know that the next couple teams are going to pick Tyree Wilson. And he's a heck of a football player. He can play probably from a 4 all the way to a 5. Could probably play wide 9 if you let him on a passing down. So I love that for him and for the Bears. If he's there, I think it's going to be really interesting, but they're going to have to make a choice. And you said it would be fun. To me, this is like grinder work if you're a GM, because you have realistically, and I'm sure you know this, but realistically in that room, you have a GM that ultimately has to make a decision, but you've got a head coach, you got an offensive coordinator, you got a defensive coordinator, you've got scouts. Everyone's going to be pounding the table for something different.
For their guy, yeah.
And finding out how that all meshes is maybe the hardest part of the draft, and figuring out if they not just are a good enough player, but a great fit for you. And here's the other part, and this is the part I think is really cool for the Bears. You don't have to get edge in round 1. If Jalen Carter's there, you take him, but you need to get a tackle. If you get that tackle, I would rather get a round 1 tackle and a round 2, 3, 4, whatever it is, edge guy, than vice versa.
You say tackle, offensive or defensive?
Offensive, yes. Unless it's Jalen Carter, who's a defensive tackle. But if he's off the board, Tyree Wilson's off the board, now we're looking at, okay, what do we need? I would rather go offensive tackle if I'm the Bears, because we could either get, maybe Skoronski's still there. I know folks are worried about his arm length. He's going to play for a long time. Broderick Jones, this is a guy. People worried about his polish. Guess what? This guy can play. And then, then we get into that Darnell Wright world or the Anton Harrison world. But you need to get one of these guys in the first round. And then later on, you can get Isaiah Foskey. You could get KJ Henry. You can get Nick Herbig. You can get someone that's going to be a viable. You can get Robert Beal or Britton Cox. You can get viable pass rushers a little bit later. Pass rushers in this draft feel a lot like wide receivers and running backs in prior drafts, where you're going to be able to get a good one, and he's going to grow into something.
Any credence to the rumor of the Bear, or have you heard of anything where the Bears do something? Maybe the Bears will do something so crazy, like what the hell? Another Mitch thing. And there's a lot of talk of this, of the Bijan Robinson to the Bears thing. Are you hearing it from any credible sources? Do you think that would be a wise move?
I don't think it'd be a wise move, but the big thing for me is not the Bijan Robinson move. It's teams in the bottom half trying to trade back up. And that's the part that I've been seeing because realistically, if you don't get Jalen Carter, and you don't get Tyree Wilson, you're not going to get the value that you want for a guy, because the Bears don't really want to draft a corner.
No.
So that means that you can trade back. But what we're looking at, and I'm looking at the teams right now, and we're looking at Tampa Bay. I've heard Tampa Bay. I've also heard Baltimore. Baltimore is an interesting spot because they have not re-signed Lamar Jackson, which means they might not have a quarterback when the season comes. And so them buying their way back up or buying their way higher, because they drafted 22 right now, that's the biggest one that I've heard. That's actually what we're going to talk about on Stadium today is what does Baltimore do? Because they're a team that, look, if Lamar, like, you didn't go out and get Odell Beckham to not re-sign Lamar Jackson, but if Lamar's not going to re-sign with you, you need a quarterback. That's been the most interesting one, and them as a trade partner with the Bears means that the Bears can come down, which means maybe it's Lucas Van Ness. Maybe it's what's his name? Derek kid from Auburn now. I can't remember his name anymore.
Hall?
No, Auburn. Derek Hall. Yes, Derek Hall. So you have that opportunity to move down and still get a guy who I think is still a first-round player. So you can do that. Or you add your draft capital and you're able to you can get some guards in here, right? Which is going to be interesting. So for me, that's been the biggest one, is the Bears as a dance partner with the Ravens, which is going to be interesting. But man, it feels crazy because we're watching. What are we watching? 2 top 5 quarterbacks kind of figure it out between Lamar Jackson and Aaron Rodgers. They've just resumed talks, the Jets and the Packers.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, that's going to change everything.
Yeah.
How these things shake themselves out.
Yeah, it really is. And it's going to be interesting to watch, especially because of the fact that, Rodgers is in our division. All right. That's going to really shake up the NFC North. Does he stay? Does he go? Does he end up not going because of whatever, the compensation? All right. And does he do it? And so but then what does Green Bay do? Are they good with Love? Do they want to get another quarterback? So yeah, there's all that is, everything is up in the air. What about cornerback? People are saying, hey, listen, the Bears add another cornerback, Gonzalez or Witherspoon, add a cornerback. Now that secondary, which was the strength for us last year, becomes even stronger. And you fortified the second level with the 2 linebackers with Edmonds and Edwards.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And now you got studs all in that defensive secondary. And so you don't really need great studs on the front line because you got studs in the back. Any upgrade from last year will be great. And these DBs, what about the thoughts of the Bears taking a cornerback at number 9?
Number 9 is a prime spot for a corner. And again, we don't know if Christian Gonzalez goes to the Lions, then we'll still have Devin Witherspoon, we'll still have Keely Ringo. We might even have Clark Phillips. Maybe it's a little too early at 9 for him, but I really like Clark Phillips, kid out of Utah. Just plays every single coverage, does it really well. But
what
the
about
question
Porter?
Do what? Joey
What about
Porter?
Yeah.
Hey man, listen. My dad's a Steelers fan. I'm trying to save Joey Porter Jr. for the Steelers.
So you're not going to even mention him to me.
Not going to mention him. Okay, I'm trying to save him. Legacy guy, this is a good pick. I want him to go to Pittsburgh. He grew up in Pittsburgh, went to Penn State. But no, he would be a good pick as well at 9. I mean, this guy's got arms that go all the way down to his arm. He can touch his kneecaps with his hands. He's the longest corner in the game. But what I was going to ask you, what about a guy like Brian Branch? Brian Branch is maybe the 5th, 6th best corner but I think he's the best defensive back. He's like a taller Tyrann Mathieu, right? Like this is a guy who he's a gadget piece. Now the question becomes, do you trust this defense to use a gadget piece, or do you trust them to go out and get a guy that's a straight up and down corner?
I think right now a straight up and down corner. I think they want that back end solid, all right, because we've had some free agent signings up on the front line, which is an upgrade. But the stronger, and as I told you last week, the secondary was a strength at the end of the year.
Yep.
And if you add another stud, he'll have growing pains, of course. It's the NFL. All right, but he's going to get back into form, just like these guys did last year, Gordon and Brisker.
Yep.
All right, they middle of the season, toward the end of the season, they got their feet under them and they started making plays. So now you add that with an improved defensive line. Again, not world beaters at this particular point, but just an improvement. It's going to make that second and third level better. So I'd rather get that straight up corner, solidify that, and then we could play around later in the draft. So just give me the straight up things. Yeah, give me that. Give straight up things.
I like that. I just Brian Branch to me is just putting him with Brisker, two guys that can kick and mix all day. Like Brisker's good coming downhill, so is Brian Branch. And then the idea of one of them kind of roaming, oh man, that turns me on. But if you're going to get a Witherspoon's going to be fun. Like Witherspoon's going to be a guy that plays at that corner spot. He can play off coverage. He can come down and press and then trigger in cover 2 to go be part of your outside contain run enforcement. So there's a lot of good options.
And he likes to hit. That Joker likes to hit.
He loves it. He absolutely loves it. And then here's the thing. If we go deeper into the draft, right, and you don't get it in the first round, you might be able to get Clark Phillips in round 2. Oh, by the way, we didn't mention DJ Turner. DJ Turner is another good option, especially if they make this swap that we talked about with the Ravens, and if the Ravens go up to get a quarterback, and now you're drafting in the back end of the first round. I think DJ Turner will probably be there. Very good guy out of Michigan, absolute killer. He's so talented. So for me, I look at all this stuff, and there's guys you can get later. There's guys you can get now. There's guys who are really well taught. Like if I can get a guy from Cincinnati like Anquan Bush, I want him. If I can wait until round 3 to get him, I know he's going to come and know what he's doing. That defense was very well taught, and that's one of the things that I look at. Keely Ringo, another one of those guys. Maybe he's there if they do this flip-flop and they're in the 20s. Keely Ringo, amazing football player. I think he's the best all-around corner in this draft. I think Witherspoon's the best zone corner, especially cover 3. I think Christian Gonzalez is probably the best man corner, but Ringo kind of is the best all-around guy, and I really love what he brings to the table. He's kind of like a more disciplined Antonio Cromartie. I'll never forget my first year of college. Cromartie was at Florida State, and they were like, okay, Felder, you just play man coverage. I was like, well, I'm looking at the card. What do I do? And they're like, doesn't matter what the card says. You just do your own thing and play man. And then I talked to my buddy Eddie, who played quarterback and wide receiver at Illinois. And he said the same thing about Vontae Davis. And he was like, Vontae Davis, they're there. And they're just like, hey, you just play man. And I think that just do whatever you want, and then we'll orbit around you. And I think that like a guy like Eli Ricks, you can get in the later rounds, a guy that played at LSU, played at Alabama, but he's so good in man coverage. And then you just kind of build that around him, even though you get him late because he's super talented. Witherspoon, I think, plays within structure. Ringo, I think, plays within structure, but has the abilities of a guy like a Cromartie, has the size of a guy like Cromartie. Gonzalez, just play man. Come on, just play man. He's got this Darrelle Revis ability about him, a lot of stick-to-itiveness. So I really, really love I love all these corners, man. I can go on for days. Cam Smith from South Carolina. This kid can play. Obviously, he's built in the same mold as a guy like J.C. Horn, who was a first-round pick for the Carolina Panthers a while ago. But you get into these guys, like I'm looking at my spreadsheet right now, and I love all these dudes, man.
Guys, we're joined by Michael Felder from Bleacher Report talking college football analysis and Bears possibilities right here on Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. What about a running back? All right, the Bears obviously let Demo go. He went to Detroit. Yeah. He kind of threw it back in our face. He put on his Instagram and him in his new Detroit uniform, a Detroit Lions uniform, which I didn't really like very much. But we signed Deontay Foreman. But you also want to get a youngster, all right? We got Khalil Herbert, Deontay Foreman. Deontay Foreman said, I ain't coming here to back up, homie. I ain't coming here to be the backup. So there's going to be a nice battle for the starting job, which competition, as you all know, is beautiful. That's the best thing in the world. But what about a running back? Where do we get a running back? Because we do need one more. I would say a home run hitter. I don't know if you can get a home run hitter and a guy who can block, because that's obviously very important, protecting Justin Fields. Where do you think we get a running back, and who do you think we look at the running back position?
So here's what I'm going to say. Let's take 3 guys off the board: Jahmyr Gibbs, Devon Achane, and Bijan Robinson. Like you can't afford to spend your most expensive draft capital on those guys. The Bears cannot do that.
Right. Agreed.
So what are we looking at? I think there's 2 local guys, which will be kind of interesting in Evan Hull and Chase Brown. Both of them are pretty good in pass pro. I don't think Evan Hull has the explosion that you're talking about. He reminds me a lot more. Do you remember Robert Smith?
Yeah.
From the Vikings?
Euclid High School, Ohio State, Minnesota Vikings.
Yep.
I remember him a little bit. Want to
Evan
become
Hull,
a doctor?
Evan Hull reminds me of that guy. Chase Brown, a little more explosive, but those are 2 guys that are coming from the state of Illinois. And if you get those in the middle of the draft, towards the end of the draft, you're in business. Another name that I'm going to throw out, I got 3 more names. One I'm going to throw out is Deuce Vaughn. I don't know how people feel about his size. He is very small.
Yeah.
Or he's very short. He's not small. He's very strong. Obviously fits into that Darren Sproles role, right? A guy that can catch the ball in the backfield, but he's very good in pass protection, which I love. I'm also going to throw out Kendre Miller. Very good in pass protection. He's from TCU. He is a very good guy that you're probably going to be able to get back end of day 2, front end of day 3. Great football player. This guy just got the job done. And then I'm going to go Dwayne McBride, small school guy coming out of UAB. But McBride, again, back end of day 2, early day 3. And then the name I mentioned earlier, obviously, was Mohamed Ibrahim. So I think you can get a running back that's going to be an immediate contributor. Like we saw what Tony Pollard was able to do, right? We saw what Michael Carter was able to do. We've seen what these guys have been able to do when they step into the NFL. They get the job done. And you can get them a little bit later, and then you have them on that 4-year deal. And then you have to decide what you're going to do later. But these guys are all real deal players. And I think that's the reality. Oh, and another name, Kenny McIntosh. Kenny McIntosh, question about from Georgia, yes. The question for him is how many miles are on those tires? Because he's one of the only running backs that's like an actual, like, what is he, a 4th, 5th-year senior? That's a lot of mileage, especially playing that kind of smash mouth style at Georgia. But he also knows a lot of football and understands what he's doing. So you got to, 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other. You got to kind of pick your poison with these guys. But I don't think you're going to get Achane, Robinson, or Gibbs. But when it comes to Chase Brown, Evan Hull, you look at Deuce Vaughn, you throw in Kenny McIntosh, I think you've got an opportunity to get a running back that's going to give you a few really good years that helps your offense, helps expand the offense, helps Justin Fields in pass pro.
Yeah.
And then finds a way to move the ball down the field. What's the wide receiver situation looking like?
I was going to be my next one. So I'm happy with the wide receiver situation.
Okay.
All right, I'm happy with it. Obviously we got DJ Moore that plucks him atop of that room. He's legit number 1. I think Chase Claypool, who's coming up at the end of his contract, is a legit. I think he can be an all-pro number 2 receiver, kind of like Brandon Marshall, Alshon Jeffrey a few years back. I love it.
Nice.
Then Darnell Mooney. We got 3 receivers who have all caught over 1,000 yards in a season, and that's 1, 2, 3. That is a very, very nice room. Okay, I think Darnell Mooney could be an all-pro number 3 receiver. I mean, I don't know about 1,000 yards with that guy, but you get 600, 800, because I'm expecting 1,200 plus from Moore. I'm expecting right around a stack from Claypool, and we haven't even talked about Cole Kmet. We haven't talked about the other one, but not Bunyan, Canyon. Robert Tunyon. I knew it was something young. We're not even talking about him, and then we're not even talking about Velus Jones, who I think is going to have a much bigger role, especially underneath, because of his breakaway speed, and just having dudes chase him. So I think I like our receiver room a lot. I mean, we signed EQ St. Brown again. That's more of because he's a great run blocker. He can come up with some big catches. Didn't come up with enough last year, but he can come up with some big catches. He's a great run blocker out on the edge. And we re-signed Dante Pettis. I'm happy with the wide receiver room. I'm happy with it. I don't think we need to delve into anything there.
There we go.
So I think we're set there. And then you know what? Then you don't have to teach anyone else the system as far as the wide receivers go. Just about everybody was on the team last year. Even Claypool had half a season learned the system. Now I don't have to teach these guys. Now I can coach these guys in the system. And you know, as I do, that's a big difference teaching somebody a system and coaching them in the system. So I'm expecting some big things from these wide receivers. DJ Darren, go ahead, double team me, and Chase. And it's a contract year for Chase, so he's got to have to show out. So I'm looking forward to a big year from these guys, and a big year from these guys. If they have a big year, that means that dude number 1, what's his name, Justin something or other, he has a big year too.
Yeah, I know. I love that. I love everybody. There's so often I talk to folks NFL from an NFL standpoint, and they're like, "We need a weapon. We need this. We need that." If you're happy with that room, be happy with the room. I love that. And then you know what you get to do: spend that draft capital on positions of need. And I think
depth
and need. And I think here's the thing, you need depth. Like that's one of the things that people don't talk about all the time. Everybody expects everybody to walk in as a starter, but the reality is you need help on the offensive line, starter or non-starter, help on the defensive line, starter or non-starter. And I know we like the linebackers, but you need somebody else that can run around and hit people too. So this is going to be a really interesting thing to see how they parse this out. Especially because what if this is why, again, you said this is the greatest time of the year for a GM, but man, it's the scariest time. This is the time to get you fired, because if you pass on somebody, let's say you do have your board set up, right? And we don't need a wide receiver, or we don't need we want a running back, but we'll wait to get it. And then you pass on someone like Jahmyr Gibbs, or you pass on someone like, let's say Jordan Addison falls. You pass on him. Then all of a sudden you're like, oh, man. This guy, are you kidding? This guy's doing this? And I think that's what makes being a GM so hard, and that's what makes being a scout and a coach so hard. You got to figure it all out. So I think this is going to be really interesting to see how this all shakes itself out, because, man, I think I've got 17 guys with a round 1 grade. Like bona fide round 1s.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, it's like, who do you like the most?
Yeah.
And that's the part that's crazy.
The one thing about it is that Ryan Poles, I'm becoming a bigger fan of his daily.
Yeah.
Because I think I mentioned to you last week, he has a plan and he sticks to that plan. Damn you, damn me, damn everybody. I'm doing it my way. And he's got an understanding of the system offensively with Getsy, defensively with Flus or Coach Williams. I mean, Coach Flus obviously has a big hand in it. And he gets guys who fit that system.
Bingo.
So I love that about him. Not the name, the fit. That's the most important thing in his eyes. And sometimes for him, the best fit might be the 4th or 5th best player at that position, but he would be the best fit for this team, which means his impact will be bigger than most people. Oh, he's a 6th cornerback, or he's the 5th defensive tackle. But you know what? His fit in the system works, so his production could be much better than if you took the number 1, or well, not Jalen Carter, but number 2 or 3 defensive tackle in that draft because of his fit. So that's why I like him, and I want to see who he takes, who they like. And you know what? What he did last year. Who did they not bring in? Those are the guys I want to see, because it's Lion season right now. It's like, and I'm sure they release reports. Oh yeah, we're looking at a wide receiver. We're looking at this guy. We're looking at that guy, and just kind of like a red herring. And I want to see how well this guy maneuvers. How many additional draft picks do you think he can get this year? Do you think 1 second rounder? Does he trade out of the first round? What do you think how many additional draft picks? That question alone. How many additional draft picks do you think Ryan Poles gets this year, in addition to the ones he's got from the DJ Moore trade? I mean, from the trade back.
Panthers. Yeah. Here's the thing. I think that they are legitimately in a spot where they can pick up a couple more, especially they're not completely in charge of this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we're already hearing Houston doesn't want CJ Stroud, so they're already going to try to trade out of it too.
Right.
Which that I think that's a huge mistake, but it is what it is. So things are going to be moved. There's moving pieces ahead of them. Seattle wondering about a quarterback. Indianapolis wondering about a quarterback. So they might not have to move and still get a guy they like, which is beautiful for the Bears. But the question becomes, how does this movement work? So he realistically, if CJ Stroud doesn't come off the board at 2, but Houston stays at 2, then Arizona doesn't need him at 2 because they got Kyler Murray. They just signed him to a new deal. Then the Colts end up with CJ Stroud. Seattle's not in love with Anthony Richardson. Okay, they pick Jalen Carter, or they pick Jalen Carter, or Tyree. Detroit picks Jalen Carter or Tyree. Now all of a sudden we're in a spot where Vegas doesn't need a new quarterback. Atlanta does, but from everything I've heard, they don't love Will Levis. I don't know who does, but he keeps showing up. And
everywhere.
Nobody actually wants this guy. So it's going to be really interesting. But then it becomes, if a team does really like Will Levis, right? Now we trade back up, whether it's the Washington Commanders or it is Detroit that's like, you know what, we can just get this quarterback and it'll be fine. Or it's Baltimore, as we mentioned before, or Minnesota, who they still want to plus up their quarterback situation. So this is going to be interesting, like realistically, and I'm kind of looking through it right now. The teams that don't need a quarterback are Arizona, Chicago, Philly, who just signed that big deal with Jalen Hurts, New England. I think Green Bay is really set on Jordan Love. Pittsburgh is fine with Kenny Pickett.
Mm-hmm.
And is that it? I mean, Philadelphia and Kansas City in Cincinnati, in Buffalo. Kansas City, Cincinnati, and Buffalo. And then we're done. I think if Dallas had a way to get out from underneath Dak Prescott, they might take it too. That's the most interesting. I think Dallas is one of the most interesting situations because Dak does play very well, but they also aren't getting to where they want to be. And so when you look at Dallas, you're like, hang on. We're going to keep this? We're going to sign him again? And that's the biggest question is, are we going to sign him again? And I think when you look at the NFL through that lens, where first rounders, they get 5 years.
Yep.
Everybody else gets, you get your law of diminishing returns, 4, 3, whatever it is. You can be cut immediately. Doesn't matter. Signing bonus is going to be, if I have to only pay you $75,000 to sign with my team and I pitch you in the 4th round, like I can let you go immediately.
This
doesn't bother me. So I just think that it's going to be interesting to see because the Giants are now falling back in love with their quarterback situation, which means they might be buyers on the offensive line side of things. Dallas is not super in love with their quarterback situation. So we're going to see what that looks like. And then Dallas also, the more I talk about Dallas, the more it's like, if Bijan Robinson is there, how does Jerry Jones pass up on this? He can't. He won't do it. It's like a kid. It's like it's like a raccoon with a shiny thing. Like once they get their hand in there and then they can't get it out of the jar and you're just stuck. So this is going to be really interesting to see how this all shakes out. But yeah, I think the Bears can get a few more picks both for current draft, but also they might be able to get some future picks too, which I know they already have some.
Yeah, I would. For me, I want the second round. I want us to go nuts, go ham. If we can get any more picks in the second round, even combo some of our picks in the later rounds, there's just so much value for me in the second round. I think you can get, like, I don't know if I mentioned this to you last week, but if you don't get that stud 3-tech, okay, but you end up getting a good rotational 3-tech, I'm cool with that. Then get me a whole bunch of rotational 3-tech, a D lineman. And I can get my stud 3-tech next year because I'm going to have a number 1 pick. I'm going to have 2 number 1 picks next year. And depending on where Carolina falls, because we know who's going number 1 next year, and that's Caleb. So Caleb's going number 1. All right. Because even if it's a team that doesn't need a quarterback, they'll trade it just for picks. Okay. Yeah. So we'll be able to get that stud 3-tech next year. I say build that sucker up around him. Give me some edge guys. Give me a 1-tech, a 3-tech. UDFAs, give me a whole bunch of that. So that D line is set because all we need is that stud 3-tech that we can get next year. And now we're cooking with gas. And I think that'll be fine. That'll be really, really good because that anything you get, even if the rotational, it's an upgrade from last year. And that means that secondary is going to eat. The linebackers are going to eat. All right. And then when you drop that stud 3-tech in there, man, the entire defense is going to be formidable. They're going to be talked about nationally.
I mean, listen, if you had an opportunity to get DJ Dale, you got an opportunity to get Byron Young. At 9, you also might be able to get Brian Bressie. Like, he's really good from Clemson. Yeah, he's super good. You also might be able to get Miles Murphy, an edge guy.
Why is he falling down? And maybe that's who the Bears go after, because the Bears haven't said shit about Miles Murphy. Yeah. There's no rumors about him, no rumors about his name just keeps falling and falling. It just keeps not falling, but just other names keep jumping up. And Miles Murphy, from what I've heard from a lot of people, he is no joke, and he would be great. And he fits. He's long. Yep. He's what they call it a volt. He's violent, he's long, and he's tenacious.
Yep. He's super. I love Miles Murphy. So that's a guy that could fit on the edge there. But DJ Dale in the later rounds, absolutely. Dante Stills, kid out of West Virginia. He reminds me a little bit of a guy. I don't know if you remember him, Eric Swan.
Semi-pro guy from
got good length, great moves, the ability to make himself skinny when he needs to. So there's that. Siaka Ika, I think 9's too early, but if they trade back, Siaka Ika from Baylor by way of LSU is another name that I really love. So Mozzie Smith from Michigan is another good one that's going to fit right there. He plays more 0 to 3 than 3 to 5, but that's still good. So I love that. And Jalen Redmond is another player coming out of Oklahoma who I really like. I think he's going to be better in the NFL than he was in college, and he's someone that's super interesting. So I got to jump off here pretty soon because I have a show in 1 hour and I have to get ready for it. I got to go get ready for a show and make my kid lunch. But this is I love talking to you about it, man. Like, this is like all football stuff, which I really love.
There's two college football players talking to each other, bro. That's what it is. I love it. One name that I do want to make sure that we get somehow, some way, I'm telling you, it's my guy. This is the one dude. If I got a hard on for anybody in this draft, it's Thule. Get him somewhere in a second or third round, dude. Get Thule. I keep wanting to say Tuiasosopo. That's Manu Tuiasosopo. But Tui Pelodu, get that sucker, man. I am excited about that dude. I love that dude. He's versatile, and he's going to be a big help if we can get him. So whoever gets him, hopefully it's my Bears. Man, it's going to be awesome. Hey, Michael, great stuff, dude. But do me a favor. Before you go, let everyone know where they can find you and your work online.
All right, folks, you can check me out I'm on Stadium every day on Inside the League up until the draft, and then I'm going to be on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So you can check me out at Stadium, watchstadium.com, or Stadium on your Apple TV or your Amazon Fire Stick, what have you. And then a Bleacher Report app, doing the whole draft. We're doing every pick for the draft. So I already packed up all my cough drops. I am ready to go with my SEPA call to make sure that I'm just like I'm ready to rock and roll. I don't get a sore throat. But we're doing that on the BR app and also on the BR YouTube channel. Myself, Adam Lefko, Micah Parsons, we're all Kirk Cousins is going to be on there for some of it. So I got to make sure I watch what I say. But we're going to be good to go. Yeah, so you can find me on the BR app. And then obviously I would love if anyone wanted to subscribe to itsfelder.substack.com. I do a weekly newsletter a couple times a week. And, I kick out, some thoughts about cooking, parenting, and then obviously a lot of stuff about football. Actually should drop a little bit later today. Great stuff, man. I appreciate it. Hey, have a great show later, Papa. We'll talk soon. Sounds good. Peace. All righty. Guys, that was Michael Felder from In the Bleachers. Yes, Shorty, I did misspell that. My mistake. I corrected it. In the Bleachers, not NTB Bleachers. Sorry, that was my mistake. In the Bleachers. At In the Bleachers is where you can find him on Twitter. Great stuff. Great stuff. Let's take a quick break. And on the other side of the break, we'll wrap this thing up with a bow. A nice, pretty little bow. So don't go anywhere, folks. Keep it locked right here. Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago.
Hey folks, it's your boy, the Superback, Shawn Sierra, and we are 3 days away from the NFL Draft and the Sports Zone Chicago Draft Party sponsored by Miller Lite. Come hang out with your favorite Sports Zone Chicago personalities on Thursday, April 27th at Output Lounge, 1758 West Grand Avenue in Chicago at 6 o'clock. Enjoy our live draft show, the best wings in the city, cold drinks, and giveaways throughout the event. So don't meet us there, beat us there. And we'll see you Thursday, April 27th, 6 p.m. at Output Lounge, 1758 West Grand Avenue in Chicago. Hey, it's your boy, the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
Yeah, hello. I'm really not sure if this is what you all do, but I really don't have anywhere else to turn.
Hi. I don't even know why I'm calling right now. I'm sorry. My thoughts are going a mile a minute.
My kids are out of state. My buddies from the Army are all gone now. I'm really alone.
I left the service last year. My mom just passed away a few months ago. I miss so much time with her. I keep getting calls about the bills, and I'm trying to get a job, but I feel so stuck.
Okay, ma'am. I'm glad you called.
Okay, sir. Let's stay on the line and walk through some things.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
We are looking for a few heroes, mentors, trailblazers, innovators. A passion to change lives, spark curiosity, open hearts, and awaken minds. Help students answer the question, who am I? This could be your calling, but this is no job. It's the journey of a lifetime. Be a hero. Be a teacher.
Every day we take steps to keep the people we love safe, but some health risks are easy to miss. Ticks hiding in the yard can spread germs, like the ones that cause Lyme disease. Mice searching for food can spread bacteria that makes us sick. Mosquitoes lay eggs in standing water and can spread West Nile virus and more. Cockroaches are drawn to water in the home, leaving behind allergens that can trigger asthma attacks. Common pests can threaten our health. Learn how to protect your family at pestworld.org.
Mental health and learning disorders don't discriminate. 17 million children and adolescents in the United States live with disorders like anxiety, depression, ADHD, and dyslexia. Less than half get the help they need to thrive. Help the Child Mind Institute change these children's lives. Visit childmind.org.
Against a four-man rush. He's flushed. He takes off. There's a flag down and Fields somehow. 3rd down and 9. Quick throw. Patterson gets blown up, and it was Kyler Gordon again. Flip it to him here on 3rd and short. Spins his way for a first down. They do so again. Mariota lets it fly. That is incomplete.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Defense number 6.
And you want to see some tempers flare. He's stumbling all the way in. You can see it's down low. It's not forcible, to your point.
Welcome back to Shawn and Maya in the morning on Sports Zone Chicago. Those clips courtesy of Fox. Bears football, baby. Bears football. I am excited about what's happening. I'm excited about 3 days. The NFL draft on Thursday. I am so fired up. Bearlissimo, what's up, Papa? Thank you for joining us from across the pond. We appreciate it. I'll take a look at that tweet in a moment. But yeah, great stuff. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Good afternoon to you over there. Actually, evening, 7 hours, right? So it's evening, almost nighttime your time. Okay. Good stuff. Yeah, we just had Michael Felder on from Bleacher Report. And yes, I miss his handles in the bleachers. You can find him on Twitter, and I misspelled it INTB. ETB bleachers. Thank you for correcting me. I appreciate it. Oh, it's nearly 6 o'clock. Okay. So you're 6 hours ahead of us. Okay. Oh yeah, because we spring forward. So that's right. Great stuff, man. Mike, I want to have him on as much as we can in the near future. Dude's great. You know what? I love talking with people who know football. He played college football at North Carolina. He was a safety. So good stuff. It was fun. That dude is very knowledgeable. Looking forward to his draft analysis. They're doing the whole show, the whole draft. That's a lot. I mean, I thought just the first round was going to be tough for us, but man, whew. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. The options, the possibilities are endless, and we're going to do our best. So if you're in the Chicagoland area and you can join us, please come out. Output Lounge, all right, 1758 West Grand Avenue in Chicago, right on the corner of Grand and Wood in Westtown, literally right down the street from the United Center. Come and hang out. There's tons of parking, about a block away. They have a very small parking lot, but if you cross Grand, across the street from Grand is a whole bunch of industrial. It's a lot of businesses and warehouses, and at that part of the night, their business hours are over. So you'll have a lot of parking on Hubbard Street and actually on Wood. So get there. It's going to be fun. It's going to be packed. Best wings in the city. Great burgers, great tacos, cold drinks. Let's do it. I'll see you guys there. It's going to be fun. Then you're going to get to meet some of the Sports Zone Chicago personalities. Myself, Maya will be there. Second City Sports is scheduled to be there. The Smoke Fellows are going to be there. Ben, Damani, Kevin. I'm not sure if Sly is going to be there. And then What's Up Cuz, Jason Palmer and Lance Irvin are going to be there. It's going to be one hell of a night. You're going to want to join us. All right. Bears football is here. You see my hat, when did I get this one? Oh, I got this one at the Sports Authority. The Dick's Sporting Goods outlet. And which reminds me, I need to go back. You know, having an outlet store like that so close to me is a great thing and a dangerous thing at the same time. I found last year they had the Bear winter hats. It was in the summer. And it was probably June. No, it was before then. And they were $7.50. You know, the ones with the insulated, the felt on the inside, so they're really, really, really warm sideline hats. They were $7.50. I only got 4 of them. I'm like, eh. And then I was like, you know what, dummy, go back and get more. They're like 10 or 12 of them. Like, go back and get the rest of them because those are great Christmas presents. I couldn't make it the next day. I went back 2 days later, gone. Like, damn. So I need to go back there. And if they have anything like that again, guess what? Your boy will be getting them. That's for sure. For sure. But real quick story, man. Let me tell you, if you're in a situation, a crazy thing happened to me yesterday at Output. At Output. Not to me, but it happened at Output. I met up with my guy, Mark, my fullback. And, we meet up every couple of months or so. Just, he lives way north of the city by Wisconsin. I live way south of the city. We always meet there for wings, talk. We catch up on him, the family, his kids, and, me and my situation and what I'm going through. So we're sitting there and there's a dude there who's kind of messed up. And we're not jag bags for the most part, unless you're a jag bag with us. And so the guy was buying people shots. And he's like, "Oh, get them a shot too." I'm like, "All right, cool." So me and Mark, we ordered our wings. There's the sweetness, so it's 34 wings, onion rings, potato wedges, awesome. Okay. And the guy comes over to talk to us, and we started talking to him. Again, you could tell he was inebriated. And he's like, "Oh, dude," he goes, "I got your," he goes, "You guys are cool." He just kept talking. It just seemed like kind of weird. And he bought us another shot, and then he left a little later, maybe about an hour after we were there. Come to find out, the guy who was sitting next to one of the regulars, Rick, he was sitting next to him, and the dude apparently was going to commit suicide. And after stopping at Output, and hanging with us and meeting us and talking with us. And, we were giving him, it's what guys do. We were just talking shit, giving each other, ribbing each other, giving each other shit like guys do at a bar. Nothing malicious by any stretch. If you're a guy, you know what I'm talking about. If you're an athlete, you know what I'm talking about. He had played football in high school and then got hurt early in college. So he got it. And it was just a whole bunch of just talk and great. And the dude, I remember him laughing. And like I said, he looked disheveled. He looked like he had been drinking a while, maybe even crying. But, if you had a long night, sometimes your eyes are puffy and you could tell. He told Rick before he left, he said, I was about to commit suicide. And after meeting you guys and hanging out with you guys, it made me reevaluate what I was going to do. To me, that was so powerful. To know, like I said, because me and Mark, we talked to him for about 15, 20 minutes, at one point, and he kept coming over, because we told him we used to be teachers, we were football coaches, blah, blah, the whole nine. He loved talking to us because he had played football, whatever. But it just goes to show you, man, what? Kindness goes a long way. All right, even if someone's annoying, because he was kind of annoying, but we're like, cool, man. It's Sunday fun day. You've been drinking. Trust me, I can guarantee I've been annoying after I've been drinking. Okay, at one point or another in my life. Okay, and it is. You never know what people are going through, and this is why it's always good to be kind to people, because we could have heard about him on the news last night, but because we were kind, because we welcomed him into the community, our little community, our Sunday session, our Sunday service, it made him reevaluate life and reevaluate the things the actions that he was about to take. And I was so happy that it went that way as opposed to going another way. And it was just it really put things in perspective about, like, what are you going through? I know I have my things I'm going through. We all have the things that we all go through. Okay, but what is he going through that made him want to do that? Something so final, so definitive. All right. And the fact that we were able to help him not go down that route, it was, and to be a part of it, I think was really made my day and made my week. I could say, and a week just started. That was Sunday. I don't think there's going to be anything much better than knowing that I had a part in helping someone, go take a different path than the path that they had planned to take yesterday morning. So great stuff, man. But listen, 3 hours is come and gone. What a phenomenal show. I want to thank my guests for joining us. It was, what did you do right here? Sorry. Saul Rodriguez from the At Bat podcast on War Media, and then Michael Felder from Bleacher Report. Great stuff. Also want to thank my guy, Steve, our super producer, Steve, my executive producer, Elliot Baez, Clarence Counselor, social media guy, my co-host, in absentia, Maya Kai. I want to thank all those guys, all those people for allowing us to giving you a entertaining last 3 hours. So listen, we're going to take a 45-hour break, and on the other side of the break, we'll see you on Wednesday. Same bat time, same bat channel, 9 a.m. to noon, Central Standard Time. All right, coming up next is Second City Sports with Lakina McGee and Sydney Brown. They will have more sports conversations, so keep it locked right here on Sports Zone Chicago. So for Steve, for Elliot, for Clarence, for Maya, guys, I'm your boy, the Superback, Shawn Sierra. Enjoy. I got to take Mom to get some labs done because she has a doctor's appointment this week. We're going to run around with her for a little bit and get back home. Enjoy this beautiful weather. Enjoy it. It's a little cool, but enjoy it. You woke up today. Remember, life is about perspective. And just when you think it's bad, trust me, there are other people who are going through a lot worse. We're a lot stronger than we think we are. Because if you're watching this, I can guarantee you are 100% against all the bad things in your life. All the things that have come to destroy you, you are 100% victorious against all of them. All right, guys, I gotta let me say that again. I gotta get out of here because I'm hungry. I gotta get Mom to get her labs done, and I will see you soon. 45 hours from now. Your boy, the Superback. I'm out.